Hello, everyone. So, on that bright
Hello.
note from Pierre, we go on another session of Bloodsword. Last time, we were doing the first half of the fourth book, Doomwalk. Well, I say the first half, but the first story arc in which we were trying to find a way to Sheol, the land of the dead, or Sheol. Anyway, regardless of how it's pronounced, we are now here. We managed to basically poison ourselves, which is a great way to go to the land of the dead. But we are here with all our equipment, so everything's fine.
If they're not honest, we'll just be dead.
Yeah, pretty much. And apparently, the only way to get back from that land is to strike a deal with the Angel of Death himself. So we're pretty much going on a trip to find the wife, the deceased wife of a powerful mage or alchemist, anywho, and then bring her back by whatever ways are possible, which we were not explained, by the way.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so if you're ready, we can start. You wake to find you have been washed ashore on an unearthly strand. The sky above you is gray-green, looking like a mausoleum dome. What light there is feeble and colorless. By the way, I'm pretty sure that the section called You're Here is where we are when we start in the land of the dead. Alright. Nearby is a ridge of rocks leading to a pebbled beach. Beyond, stark cliffs rise up hundreds of feet. You look to either horizon without seeing a break in the cliffs. On the cliff top, you can make out a broken ring of stone. Though the only way up, it would seem to be by climbing. So do we climb or do we make our way along the shore? Is the choice we have to make.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Good
think the
question.
half broken circle is the Typhon's ring, which is mentioned here. So we either go that way or we go for the
Um.
beach, which is about that way.
The thing is, if we climb, we might have a chance of falling and then dying.
Yo, yeah, absolutely. But we are in the land of the dead. I'm not exactly sure how that works.
Let's go for climbing then.
I agree with doing the climbing.
All right. What about you, warrior?
As much as I enjoy taking a walk on the beach, climbing seems to give maybe a bigger look at the map. I don't know.
All right. Let's see. 536. 536. The cliff is higher than you supposed and the climb more difficult. Several times your feet slip or your hands close to a crumbling rock, and you almost fall to your death on the bleak shore far below. To your death, it is an odd thought. What is the fate of those who die in Israel's land? Oblivion, perhaps, or something worse. It is a secret you must hope to avoid finding the answer to. Turn to 310. So go to 310.
So the book is basically answering our question. Don't die. Otherwise, oblivion.
Maybe. So eternity could have passed while you were scaling the cliff. When you finally reach the top, you consider pausing in prayer for a moment, but it would be a futile gesture in this lifeless, forsaken place. The wind brings gusts of decay to your nostrils. Peering up to the cold sky, you see a few rotted, squawking things that look horribly like dead gulls flying jerkily above the cliff tops. Now you can get a closer look at the stone torus. Presumably built as a full ring, the countless centuries of supporting the weight of its own arch have shattered it into a mere semicircle. So, do we take a closer look or do we bypass the torus and head inland?
I'd say we take a closer look.
I agree with taking a closer look.
Alright, let's see. Warrior, you agree with that?
Yeah, why not?
Alright, so responding to your approach, a flickering light appears between the horns of the semicircle. Almost beyond the range of hearing, you can detect a keening note in the air. The gulls, or whatever they are, give strangled croaks and veer out away from here across the sea. Alright, so if the enchanter is here and wants to cast prediction, he or she should turn to 315. If not, you can investigate more closely or forget about the broken Taurus and head inland. Well, a little prediction probably doesn't hurt. What do you say, guys?
Oh yeah, sure.
Predict.
Predict away.
Alright, let's see. 315. You are pleased to find that your magic works perfectly here in the afterworld. Looking through the curtain of time, you see yourself locked in combat with a giant monster. It has a horse's head and fights with a crystalline mace. You try to see further. After slaying the giant, it appears that you are led to a valuable treasure. The image fades. You are in the present again, if time can be said to have any meaning here. So do we, based on that information, do we still investigate the broken Taurus, or do we head inland?
Okay, let's continue our investigation like Scooby-Doo would do.
Alright, if you don't mind, I'll just change change spell since we are fighting soon. I will change that for a spell of, let's say, Sword Thrust. It is a trusty spell, and since I'm having 2 actions per turn, I feel confident that I can cast several spells during a fight if I use the right one. Those masks were very a good find to last game. I cannot say
For you, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so do we... Sorry, I did miss the answer. Do we investigate the Taurus? I'd say yes myself.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's Scooby-Doo it.
Scooby-Doo time.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
fairly
Yes,
sure that
it's
Scooby-Doo
profitable.
Gang did not have to fight to the death with a giant horseman, but they did do investigation.
Yeah.
So the glow,
Those lucky bastards had Scooby snacks though.
so the glow becomes brighter and brighter. You have to shield your eyes. As it fades, you see a giant figure standing in front of the Taurus. Seems to be the thing. I am fairly sure it's that thing. Seemingly composed of black marble, it has the head and hind quarters of a horse, but stands on 2 legs and has the body of a man. It regards you with a single unblinking golden eye. And in its hands, it wields a glass-like mace. I am Typhon, it says. Well, confirmed. It is Typhon's ring. You who have come here from the mortal vale now face a dilemma, for you must defeat me and have any hope in your quest. Yet I am unconquerable, and the touch of my mace brings the mightiest to their knees. Suddenly, even as you watch, cracks appear throughout Typhon's stone body and he crumbles to dust. What? Okay.
What the heck?
Alright, go to 398. You're just relaxing your guard, wondering what happened for your unconquerable foe when suddenly he springs up out of the ground right in front of you. Learn this lesson quickly, he says, giving a savage laugh from the booming of a thunderclap. Nothing is what it seemed in Death's realm. His mace swings down and slams into the first player with bone-crushing force. This player loses 15 endurance points, less the usual deduction for armor. If you survive, you must fight. I'm fairly sure that you survive, warrior, but let's just bring up your character sheet here. There you go, you have... Yeah, and I think you have protection 6.
He's cheating!
So,
Yes,
you
6
lose...
armor.
Yeah, 6 armor, so you lose only 9. Let's put ourselves in the plane of no return right here. Seems like a nice place to drop our characters. There we go. Okay, so you lost your hit points. Let's go on the battle map and go there. Go from there. Alright, so let's first remove the ring of the last fight, and place a new one. So 31116. Alright. Let's see. 31111. Is there another 1-1? Nope. And 6. There we go. Here we have our map. So, we are placed in a specific way. So, the warrior will be placed here. Enchanter here, Sage here, and Trickster here. Now for Typhon the Giant stats. Huh. It literally says Typhon the Giant, meaning if we had still the sword, the giant killing sword from the first book, it would have been useful to get some extra damage.
Makes sense.
But we already have extra damage because we're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, sure. I should have started. You guys allow me to actually have my first spell not be a damage spell? You know, to give you the bonus +1 for damage and to hit?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. If you wish to.
The Eye of the Tiger thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Could be useful.
I'm gonna wreck him like butter.
I mean, I'm not sure I will miss my attack, but yeah, more damage.
So, do you think it will not be very useful?
I think it's useful in terms of it chance and damages. Yeah, sure.
So, Typhon
Yeah.
the Giant, by the way, for his stats as a physical prowess of 8, is blows deal 6d6 +1 damage, which is huge.
Very respectable.
Psychic ability of 8, and awareness of 6, meaning he plays after us. And armor rating of 3, which means arrows will be close to useless for him, and he has 70 endurance points.
How much armor he has?
3.
3. Can still
arrows
deal
still
a
can
damage.
do something, but it's close to nothing. Like half the time you don't do anything.
Meh.
Even if you hit.
True.
Still worth shooting arrows.
Well, you're just next to it. I did not place him yet, but yeah, you're just next to him.
I'm just saying in general.
Alright, so Typhon the Giant is right here. Let's put his endurance bar.
And plus, your blessing will have +1 damage to our arrows, and is that great?
Alright, so okay, so now let's put the turn order. So the magsmen, I can remove their thing. Just put the trickster.
So
back
what
on
was
the
it?
top.
6 dice 6 damage it does?
+1.
+1. Oh, okay.
Alright, so there we go. We have the turn order. And let's start the fight. Trickster, you're on.
Attack!
Okay, that's a very nice roll altogether. For a total of 12 damage. I wonder if I will be able to make any damage before the end of this fight. Warrior, you're next. Well, actually, before you do, I'll just attempt to cast my spells and see if that works. So I will cast Eye of the Tiger. I need to have 6 or less.
Good luck.
Oh yeah, and I got it first try. Which means that
Good.
with my second action, I will prepare Sword Thrust. So you now have all the
Nice.
bonus of +1 to physical prowess and damage. Alright, so let's go back to the warrior and sage. So what do you do?
that's 2 dice. 2 dice. I
Arrow.
attack him, of course.
And I hit.
Alright, do you do damage?
Aha.
Nope.
No damage.
No damage whatsoever. Did you remove your arrow?
It's 7.
No, it's an arrow. Oh, for you, yeah. Sure.
7 minus his defense, which
Oh.
is
4.
damn.
Didn't you? Okay, roll to hit was above the sage one. So 7 minus
Yeah.
his armor, so yeah, effectively about 4 damage. Alright, so now that we've all played, Typhon will have to choose whether or not he targets the warrior on uneven roll or the trickster on even roll. So he targets the warrior, does not hit, hopefully, which means that it's back to us, trickster.
Attack!
And that's still a hit. And that's close to max damage. But it's the exact same amount of damage as
Man,
previously.
that's a
because
lot
you
of
now have the
damage.
bonus.
11 damage. That's nice.
No, 12.
Oh.
He has an armor of 3.
So I've
Ow.
done 12 with both my hits so far.
Yep.
Mhm. That's pretty nice.
Well, now that I don't buff you, Warrior Sage, want to do your things? Okay, that's a hit. Clearly a hit.
That's almost a critical hit, I'd say.
And
Crap.
plus how much? If you
3. It's I do 3 damage.
okay. Have you counted the +1 damage I give you with my spell?
Well, yeah, it's with the axe, it's like +2.
Okay, good.
1 for the axe, 1 for your spell, and 1 for the string buff we had with the genie, I think,
Alright.
or something like that.
No, the 1 is because of your level. You're naturally.
Oh yeah,
2d6 plus
my
1
level.
damage.
That's 3. I deal damage what I roll.
Alright, so
Ha, ha,
that's a
ha.
hit. Oh, this time it inflicts 6 damage.
So it's
minus-
3 damage in its giant face.
Alright. My turn. I will attempt to affect him with a sword thrust. 6 or less to hit. No. Now 7 or less to hit. Yes. Alright, so I will now inflict the 3d6 plus 3 damage. Inflicting 14, which means 11 damage. That is
Oh,
great.
we're wrecking the guy. That's great.
Yes, we are. It is now its turn, however, to try to reciprocate.
Wreck us.
Let's see, and he will target this time again the warrior. Let's see if he hits this time. He does hit, inflicting, let's say 6d6 plus 1. Let's roll that. So 23 damage minus armor, so 17.
Not too shabby.
And that's 21, 14, I think. Something like that.
You know you can simply type minus 17 and it will calculate automatically, right? You know, replace your number by minus 17 and it works.
All right.
Well, last time I tried, it did something else, but I would try next time. Hopefully they won't be here next time.
Hopefully. Well, I'm fairly sure we will get bounced around by other enemies later on. So, Trickster, back to you.
Attack!
That is a hit. And
Still dealing high damage!
seriously, that's a consistent 15. Alright, Warrior, you can continue. Warrior and Sage, by the way, you can both do your things. And if you manage to...
Die!
That's...
9 damage.
Oh yeah, 9 damage, even, okay, counting the armor, so that's very nice. Let's see if the Sage has what it takes to finish it off.
No, I'm not gonna finish him off.
Oh, you're not gonna waste an arrow? Alright.
No, wait. I'll do something though. Wait a minute.
What do you do?
I'll use one use of the jar of healing ointment to heal the warrior just in case.
Okay. Didn't we say something like you need to be next to the guy in order to do it? Now you're kind of stuck in a corner.
Oh, yeah, that's true, because it wasn't specified, but logically it would be
The
logical.
description showed Fatima just applying...
You
Yeah,
can't do that! It's
Yeah,
against the law!
It's a valid point, so I'll just recuperate my charge, and in case, I'll go there just in case.
You cannot.
You don't want to...
your
I
allies.
cannot walk through you?
No, if I'm not mistaken, you cannot. Let's
Ah.
just see the combat rules once again, just for a moment.
I'll save an arrow then.
Actions in combat. Let's see.
I'll
you
save an
can
arrow
move
then.
over a
It's
square
like
equal to half your awareness score.
Man,
However, you cannot move through or end your move on the square already occupied by another character. Okay, so it doesn't matter which kind of character, you just cannot.
the enchanter should blast it off.
Alright, so, well, on my first action, I shall prepare the spell White Fire, which is slightly easier to cast, and still does enough damage to wreck a fool. And now I will need to hit on a 7 or less on 2 dice. And that's an 8, which means I fail. That is Typhon the Giant's turn. I'm really waiting forward to Book 5. My mage will be so powerful. Anyway, so Typhon will attack the warrior once again because he has a giant hard-on for it, apparently. Will attempt to injure him once again. Misses. 2 times out of 3 missing.
Thank God.
It is a very missing giant. Right. So, well, Trickster, you can deliver the
Attack!
coup de grâce on the giant for, well, enough damage to destroy him. But since he came back from being blown to bits, I'm just gonna keep his thingy around just in case that's one of these repeating combats with a gimmick. Alright, so
I
if
hope
you
not.
defeat him, turn to 61. Let's see, 61. Uh, 61. Typhon disintegrates again, but this time he does not rematerialize. Okay, good. Only his eye is left. It is a glaring yellow sphere of hard crystal about the size of a child's skull. You can take it if you wish. So the question is, do we take Typhon's eye?
I
Oh,
will
yeah.
take his eye.
Okay,
Sure.
So apparently the trickster said gimme. Let's go back to the map. Remove the turn order.
Yeah, but I put the dibs on the Sword of Blood.
The blood sword.
Yeah, I need a weapon upgrade.
So a magical throwing axe is not enough.
Nope.
Fine.
Okay.
I worked so hard to put it all together for my friend that died back in book 2.
Yeah, you're
well,
gonna-
let's just say that we worked hard to do that. as a
Yes,
team.
we
Made
all
a
work hard.
promise to him.
I'm gonna sacrifice 2 times, I think.
You're gonna
By the
hurt
way,
the
Trickster,
the
did we
Trickster's
go back in
feeling.
time before your lyre was destroyed, or is it destroyed?
Oh, I know. I still have my harp.
Okay, good. Alright, so...
I'm Zingle the Third, the expendable.
Alright, so we apparently have Typhon's eye. Let's see how it will be useful later. The sky rumbles. No, it isn't the sky. The sound of horses' hoofs comes from the air around you, a phantom stampede like a dozen thunderstorms. There is a crack, and a smoking hoof print appears in the seared grass nearby. As you watch, another appears, and another. The hoof prints form a trail leading inland across rolling downs. Do we follow the trail, or do we ignore it and choose a different route inland?
Let's
Follow the trail.
The cryptid trail.
Yeah, basically, apparently, a flying invisible horse just is showing us the way, as far as I understand. Okay, so apparently there's 2 people wanting to follow the trail. Warrior, I think you're
I'm
agreeing
okay.
with that. And by the way, Sage, if you want to
Yeah, I'm-
spare a little bit of healing, that's the end of the paragraph.
Oh yeah, sure. Pretty sure the warrior wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I'm
So-
fairly sure he would not.
Then we're gonna
One question for
save
you,
our
Sage.
just.
Why
Huh?
the heck do I have 35 endurance points and you only have 30?
That's a very good question.
I think you're
We
supposed
should-
to have 35.
Oh really?
Just a moment.
Did
What
I
is
f-
your rank?
Did I forgot to get more? I'm a rank 5. And yes, I should have 35. You are absolutely correct.
Rank 5 of Sage, yes. You start with 25 endurance points, but because of the blessing of the genie, you're up to 35. Let me a moment. Just give me a moment. I'll update your maximum on your character sheet. There we go. 35 out of 35. It should update. There we go. It updated. Alright. So with that done, how much do you decide to sacrifice? Alright, that's a 6. And you did roll to have 3 times that amount back to you. So that's 18. You can get back your 6, of course, and 12 can be distributed to the warrior.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. So take back 12 hit points.
That is...
Thank you, kind sir. Plus... How do you do that? Again? Plus 12.
Yeah, exactly. You just replace your number by the mathematical symbol as well as the number.
Really?
So yeah, let's say...
oh yeah, it works.
Yep. Yeah, it's a... sorry, I thought that you knew. That's why I did not say that before. Anyway, so now that we decided to follow the ghost trail, we can go on paragraph 154. The trail of sulphurously smoking hoof prints takes you across inhospitable downs where the mist sits sullenly in the hollows. So I will assume that we move down to the Barrow Downs. You feel as though eyes are peering at you from the thickets of sedge and ether, but you can see no signs of life. The trail wends between a number of ancient burial mounds. It is caught along the ridge of a hill. There are moss-covered stones looking like the hunched shoulders of beasts of prey. A moan comes out of the ground. A loose stone clatters from one of the mounds. A breath of mist gusts from the entrance of another. The inhabitants have sensed your presence. They are waking up. Oh, there would be a choice, but it says here that if the trickster is here and has a harp, turn to 15. And since we previously established that you have a harp, let's go to 15. You have a sudden inspiration. Taking up the harp, you strum a light and joyous tune and begin to sing. And they provided the lyrics. Summer is come, for every spray now springs. On every blossom branch a bird now sings. The sun powers down his warmth all the day long. Bees gather pollen, and I sing my song. The whites inside the burial mounds hear you. Their dead voices are raised for a moment in a plaintive wail. Affrighted by the image of sunny days evoked by your song, they do not emerge. You pass safely by. Turn to 111. By the way, we just passed 2 paragraphs. Sage, if you want to make 2 attempts, you can.
Whoops. It was a 3, sorry. Just lagged. So I take back...
so basically, your first attempt was a 3. So you gain back what you spent.
Yeah. Okay,
and your second attempt was a 5, because I did say you could make 2 attempts.
Yeah, but technically it would be cheating because I know the result, you know?
How much did you spend on your first attempt?
I spent 5 on my first.
So let's say you spend 5 on the second one, and that will not be cheating.
Alright, so 25, so I get like, let's say my 5 back, and then I'd get back 15.
That's pretty much it. So you can basically give back 10 back
So,
to the warrior.
So then I'd subtract another 5. No, I was okay.
You spent a total of 10 points and gained back a total of 25 points, which means you can bring yourself... actually, a total of 20 points, which means you can get back those 10 points and give 10 to the warrior.
Yeah, get back 10 more, warrior.
Alright, the trail
Thank you.
The trail leads to a monolith carved out of red flecked green stone. Inlaid into its base is a corroded bronze plate. You brush away its mud and moss to reveal a map engraved there. Oh, by the way, this is the map. That whole thing, actually, you are here is where we are now. Where we used to be was probably that thing. Just under Typhon's ring. So now we have the map, and now it feels legit that we know where we go. Alright, that's the map of Sheol. You make a rough copy on this scrap of parchment you had among your belongings. Note the number 111 in case you want to refer back to this map. Also, note the code word tabula on your character sheets. May I have please somebody that takes care of noting down the code words? So just somebody that can write down on his character notes the code words we get along the way.
Okay. So what's the code word?
Tabula, which is a Latin word for table, if I'm not mistaken. As in the expression tabula rasa, which means empty table. Or in French, table rase.
Abdu. Oh, tabula. Tabula. All right. Tabula. Good.
Alright, so we have that. Let's get this out of our way. From here, you can head towards the village marked on the map or towards the Shrine of Summoning. So, which way do we go? Do we go to the Shrine of Summoning, marked here, or the village, marked here?
The Shrine of Summoning.
That is your choice. What about you, Trickster?
Sorry, I was not quite sure of what the options are.
So we can either go to the Shrine of Summoning, which I'm currently pointing on the map, or we can go to the village.
Shrine of Summoning sounds fun.
Yep.
Alright. What about you, Warrior? You're agreeing with the Shrine of Summoning, or do you prefer going to the village?
Yeah, let's go to the summoning.
Alright, go to the Shrine of Summoning. By the way, full disclosure,
I mean, Shrine of Summoning.
last time I did try that thing, I went to the village first. So I don't know what actually will happen there. Alright,
Good.
let's head
That's
to
nice.
Shrine. 157.
New things for the enchanter. That's good.
Alright. By the way, we just skipped a paragraph. At this point stage, if you want to spend an extra like 4 points to see if you can heal completely the warrior or something. Oh, 2 points. There you go. Let's see. Well, you did well to spend less than I told you because, well, you lost them. Alright. The Shrine of Summoning lies in the middle of a vast moor. Trekking across the bleak landscape, you espy a tree when a stranger stands. He is wearing a wide-brimmed hat and a ragged cloak, and carries a lantern on a crook across his shoulder. "Well met," he says, performing a graceful bow. "I'm called the Traveler, and it is my function to guide you to what you seek." So, how do we reply to this? There are 3 answers. And what exactly is that? Is an answer. The second one is, who are you? And the third one is, what is the Shrine of Summoning?
What is the Shrine of Summoning?
What is the Shrine of Summoning?
Warrior?
And what is that?
Okay, so you're more interested in seeing what he knows of our quest?
Yeah,
Fair
seems
point.
fishy.
Fair point. Although 2 people have voted to ask what is the Shrine of Summoning, so at this point we will go there. By the way,
Do you have an opinion? Never having done that place.
I did not say I never went to the Shrine of Summoning. I just said I went to the village
Oh, okay.
first.
Okay.
Alright. He falls into step beside you as you pass. The shrine, he tells you, is a place where one can summon any soul that now resides in Sheol. Perhaps you wish to locate a lost comrade or someone who can aid you in your quest. The Shrine of Summoning is the place to do it. Turn to 222. By the way, we did 2 paragraph change since the last time you healed healer, so if you want to do it.
How about we summon Icon to kick his ass again? Can we do that?
That would be nice. Actually, let's see if we have the option.
No.
I
Well,
think someone doesn't agree.
well, if someone knows where the blood sword is, it's probably Icon.
Probably.
Seriously?
I'm just wondering if the option will be there. But for the moment,
Alright.
Sage, do you want to assist? Okay, so you did spend 3 this time.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I'm trying to roll the dice. The thing is a bit wonky.
All right, let's see. That's a 2. You still lose that.
Okay.
All right. So the shrine comes into view across the moor. Okay, so it comprises a white marble rotunda with fluted dome, entered by means of a portico surrounded by demon-carved pillars. Beside it is a small lake in which you can see glowing fishes swimming to and fro. This is the pool of remembrance, says the traveler, cupping his hand to collect some of the water and then letting it trickle away through his fingers. I have heard a tale that it restores lost memories and is an antidote to the waters of the Lethe. Lethe. The waters of, the river Lethe. There you go, that one. However you want to pronounce it. In French, it's le Lethe. If the sage is here, he or she should turn to 348. So let's do that. Want to try
Sure.
again the healing while I go to 348, Sage?
Sure. Could one day get it? Whoops.
So 3 points spent.
So that's a 4.
There's
So
a
that
4.
means-
That means you get twice what you spend, so you get back 6 points.
Yeah, well, we get them all back. There you go.
All right.
Done.
So, according to another account, drinking the water of the pool of remembrance causes a person to experience again all the trials and ordeals of their life. If you drank from it now, you would feel all the wounds you have ever suffered all in one instant. The experience would either kill you or drive you mad. However, it is also written, as the traveler just said, that the water from the pool of remembrance acts as an antidote from the memory-stealing waters of River Lethe. So we can now turn to 407 with that knowledge. That means you can reattempt a healing if you want to. And 407 is quite simple. Do you want to attempt a healing, Sage? Okay, so 3. Let's roll the dice. That's a 5. You get back 9. Meaning you can actually heal yourself and heal the warrior completely.
That's exactly what I will do.
Alright, so
There you go.
407. If the enchanter is here and wants to catch his prediction, he or she should turn to 153. Huh. Didn't I already do that?
Not in this paragraph, I think.
Yeah, you
Alright,
can
well,
try it again.
For the moment, I did not have any problem using prediction in any circumstance, so let's try it. The spell enables you to see some of the possible futures that may lie ahead of you. Concentrating to an image of yourself drinking the water on the pool, you experience a frightening jolt of pain and madness. Lucky that you tried the prediction spell first then. Focus next on the possibility that you will enter the shrine. The image you see is on the inside of the marble dome where a large copper horn hangs from the center of the roof by a slim thread. The spell fades. Turn to 423. 423. If anyone wants to drink from the pool, turn to 458. If you think it's worth collecting some of the water from the pool to use later on, turn to 314. If you have not already entered the shrine and want to do so now, turn to 355, sorry. If you have finished here and are ready to move on, turn to 322. So, do we collect pool water?
Might be a good idea.
Because we might cross the river Lethe someday, eventually.
Yeah. Or maybe we can summon Icon and make him drink this thing.
Remember the time we kicked your ass?
Yeah,
Drink!
you drink
So,
it.
So we could take a sample of the water.
That is an option, yes.
Yeah, let's take a sample in case someone loses his memory.
Okay,
In case.
let's go on 314.
Just in case.
The traveler agrees that your idea is a good one. It might be dangerous to drink this water, he says, but who is to say it won't come in useful later? He fills a water bottle from the pool and hands it to you. Alright. So,
What?
who takes the water?
Who
I
has
have space.
Alright.
take the water?
Alright, so you have to know this. If the player wants to drink some of this water, know the number of the entry you're reading at the time and then turn to 496. It's important to know the entry you're reading first because, of course, 496 will not route you back there. So just say 496. So bottle of water from the pool of remembrance or pool of remembrance water, you know.
Comma 496, comma. There you go.
That is correct. And then we can go to 423 and make another choice. So 423. Alright, so now, do we drink from the pool? Do we enter the shrine? Or do we just move on with our life?
Enter the shrine.
Alright.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
a
start
shrine
the
is
shrine.
good.
Then again, at this point, one of our tasks was to save the wife of Entasius the mage, which means if we can basically summon her, that's a good step.
Yeah, can we?
Well, let's see.
Well-
Inside, a large copper horn hangs by a long thread from the center of the domed ceiling. You can reach it, but even though the thread seems thin, you find it impossible to break. You will not be able to remove the horn, says the traveler. However, you can use it to summon individuals from anywhere in the land of death. Just blow through the horn while thinking the name of the person you wish to summon. Do we use the horn or not?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Alright, 386. If you defeated Cersei and she told you the name of the seer whose ghost Ulixis sat in the afterworld, turn to 110. Well, we didn't. I'm pretty sure we did not defeat Cersei.
Why do we always... Do I always feel we're missing half the fun or something like that?
If
Each
not,
time.
we can try summoning one of more of the
Yeah.
following. There could be Tobias the Vantari, which I think is the mate. Is that the Crusader or is? Yeah, I think it's the Crusader, which we never met. So at this point, let's just skip that option. We have the option of summoning Icon. Actually, that's one of the options. Cordelia. Any player slain early in the adventure before you reach Sheol. Prince Susurian or Psyche.
So, Prince Assyrian, who's the other one?
Psyche, which is again a character which we never met.
Well, let's summon Icon.
Seriously?
Apparently, the sage seems dead set on summoning our dreaded enemy. What says you, Tristan?
I'm not saying it's a good idea.
I mean, he has the sword or something
Well,
like that?
technically,
No?
he summoned the spirit of his ancestors to get the sword in the underworld. So maybe he still has it?
Can't be too bad, I guess.
So you do want to bring Icon back? If you do, by the way, I will just prepare a sword trust spell just in case. Just slinging spells at him. Seems a good idea.
Hey, warrior, get back to full life. I healed you.
Yeah, he healed
Oh.
you a couple paragraphs back.
Sorry.
No problem.
Oh, you know it.
Oh,
I'm summoning
yeah.
our arch
Oh.
rival, so make sure you're ready.
I mean... Aren't we here to summon the dead wife of that mage or something like that?
So yes, that
We
is
don't-
also an option. Not to say that we won't have several tries of the horn. Nobody has told us that we had limited uses of the thing.
Okay.
And
Well,
in
Icon
the
might
text
blow the
literally
horn, we don't
says
know.
You can try summoning one or more of the following, which means I will just put a signet, I'll just
Can-
put something on that page just to keep it. But
Can we summon the two at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know. Not at the same time. Each one has a specific
Oh.
paragraph.
Should we try and summon allies or something?
Well, do you know of any allies we encountered along the way that died? Because at this point, it's not in the options.
Hmm.
What about all the other adventurers that we had that died?
You
Can
mean
we summon
my
can we summon
ancestors?
them all? Yes.
Well, technically, there's the option to try and summon any player slain early in the adventure before you raid Sheol. I'm not exactly sure if the adventure means the entire Bloodsword series or the book Doom Walk. In which case, if it's the Doom Walk, then
I stick with my guns. I'll go with Icon.
okay. So Sage votes for Icon. Trickster.
What about you, Trickster?
Who would you prefer bringing first?
I think Icon is fine to start with.
It will be the hard bit, I guess. I don't see any reason from summoning back Prince Susurian. Anyway, so Icon it is, I guess. So let's see. 205. You concentrate on Icon's name and blow the horn. It gives a deep, resounding note which you can well believe might carry to the furthest corner of Sheol. You are tense, waiting for the confrontation with your arch-foe when he appears, but there's no sign of him as the last echo of the horn dies away. Curious, says the traveler.
Damn.
It should force any spirit to come here, no matter where in Sheol it is.
He's not dead.
Well,
Dun, dun, dun.
he's clearly dead. We basically put him in a death aura, and he summoned the spirit of his ancestor as his last death throw. He is dead. That I can see you. But apparently he was
Are
not
you sure?
summoned by the horn.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in mind. And yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Let's turn back to 386 and make another choice. We still have the choices of Cordelia, Prince Susurian, or apparently somebody called Psyche.
But we need to meet them for summoning them, right?
No. We need to blow on a horn and think about them.
Okay. Well, let's go summon the person we were there to save then.
Cordelia, then.
Yeah.
Prince Susurian is dead.
He was
I thought
killed by an
he's-
assassin after we defeated 7 and 1.
Oh yeah. Man, my memory is fuzzy.
He basically was killed by the guy that took the sword of death.
Yeah.
Alright, so anybody against trying to summon Cordelia?
No, I'm fine with that.
Alright, so let's do this. Getting to paragraph 504. The horn gives out a low, mournful note. Even before it has died away, you sense a presence in the dome with you. Turning, you see that a slender young woman has entered softly through the portico. She lingers on the threshold and seems unwilling to speak, but somehow you know that she is Entasius' lost love, Cordelia. The traveler reaches out his hand to her, but she shrinks away. If she has been in Sheol for a very long time, then she may find the proximity of your vital force disconcerting, he suggests. Give her time, and she will speak. Record the code word wander, then turn back to 386.
Won't be long. Won't be long.
I'll just write it down for you, just in case.
Well, I'm making a list of those we got there till the beginning of the book. So we have Tabula and now Wonder.
We also have previously the code word Nexus. That was when
Oh.
we did go on the ghost ship.
Oh, okay. So Wonder.
I think we had some other ones, but these ones I don't recall.
Oh,
I think we actually got like 3 code words in the ghost ship for some reason.
there you go. Noted.
Alright. So 386. Now we still have the choice to summon Prince Susurian if we want, but once we have summoned everyone we want to, we can turn to 423 to move on. So do you want to try and summon anybody else?
Mm. Anyone you want to summon, warrior trickster?
You want to summon the warrior?
No, I mean, is there anyone you want to summon?
We're supposed to summon the lady, but I'm confused now.
Well, basically, do you think of anybody else that has died that you want to bring back and summon here?
As no, I mean we could bring Babsy, but we don't know who it is.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a cheat move if we don't know who it is.
I mean, it could be a benefit though, because it might help.
But then again, how could we think of Psyche while blowing the horn if we don't know who she is? And we have never heard of her.
That is true.
I think I will count that as a non-option.
Oh wait, what was it? Well, yeah, no, nothing. Fine, no. Good.
Alright, so we go back to 423. We still have the option for a drink from the pool, or if we're finished here and are ready to move, we can go to 322.
I think we're finished.
322 then.
I mean, unless somebody has something else to do, or
No, I'm good.
Good.
Alright, so if you have the code word tabula, turn to 497. We do. Let's go there. If you have not already done so, you could now visit the place marked on the map as Angvar's Mead Hall, which is that place here. Or if we don't wish to, we can just skip it and go to 277. Do we wish to go to Angvar's Mead Hall?
Oh yeah, sure.
That seems like a Nordic name.
I'm okay with that.
Swear to God, if
Yeah,
it's
the
a-
meat hall sounds pretty good.
I wonder if it will evolve into another fight or brawl. You know, like when we actually got the hacks of Heracross.
Oh, I'm fine with going to Angsvorn, Mr. the Hall.
if you have the axe of Heracles, everyone wants to kill you.
Angvar's Hall, says the traveler when you mention the destination. As a matter of fact, I was going to suggest that we went there before crossing the river. We may be able to get some honey cake there, you see, and honey cake is the favorite fare of the monster Garm, who guards the Gate of Mist. So if we get some cake, his Vol trails off into a chuckle. Well, take my word for it, it's worth the trip.
Yeah, cake is always good and never lie. I'm up for that.
Alright.
That
So
meme is
let's go
old.
to 166. Angvar's Hall is built at the point where the Lethe and the Acheron diverge. It is a magnificent, high-gabled building of a dark red timber, with carven dragon heads rearing up along the patterned eaves and giltwork marking the elaborate runes and spirals typical of Northland's architecture. A few outbuildings house Angvar's animals and grain. Inside the main hall is where all his warriors and their families live. Even when you are still several hundred meters away, you can hear the sounds of drunken singing echoing through the twilight. Aha, says the traveler. Angvar and his hall heroes are feasting, as is their wont. No doubt they think they're in Valhalla, though I have seen the wenches who serve at the tables, and there are no Valkyries, I can tell you. Suddenly he glances off to one side and catches your sleeve. Look there now, in the distance. You peer across the river Acheron to an expansive bleak march. Hundreds of grey-eyed ghosts are milling to and fro there. Their wailing is all but drowned out by the revelry from the hall, but from what you can hear it sounds ghastly. Are they souls in torment to weep and moan so, you ask in horror? The unburied dead, he replies. A rancid stream called the Cocytus drains into these swamps where they are condemned to wander forever. By the way, on the map it's right here. The word Cocytus comes from ancient Amphidian and it means the place of lamentation. Forget them. Our business awaits us in Angvar's Hall. You nod and let him lead the way to the great double doors. Bound in iron, they bear the hammer symbol of the god Thor, the Thunderer. The traveler raises his staff and knocks. The heavy strikes resound, rolling down the interior of the hall. The men at the tables fall silent, waiting to see the wayfarers who have come to their feasting place. Then a voice says, "Throw open the doors, bid those without to enter." And it could almost be the voice of the Thunderer himself. Go to 526. You step into the hall. A great fire rages in the central hearth, filling the air right up to the high rafters with a haze of smoke. Walking past the silent warriors at the benches, who watch you with their mead horn forgotten in their hands, you approach Angvar himself. You have never set eyes on a man with more might in his frame. Above his fiery red beard, his eyes have the look of a storm within them. As you're about to speak, the steward of the hall steps forward. With mail coat jangling at every step, he raises his arm and points to the spear rack beside the door. "You may approach our lord in your gear of battle, for Angvar Nikarson fears no man or giant, but your weapons must here await your word's outcome. Guests do not walk around these thanes with slaying tools in their hands." The traveler shrugs and places his staff in the rack before going up to Angvar's seat. If you have the sword of Loge, Skyrunner, and or a sword of Crescentium steel, turn to 35. By the way, both of these weapons were found in the first book, and I think we kind of reset the clock, so we don't have either of them. So we'll go to 563 instead.
Yep.
So, if I'm not mistaken... okay, the steward is waiting for your answer. If you're prepared to relinquish your weapon, turn to 22. If you have no weapons, turn to 345. If you have weapon but insist on keeping them with you, turn to 512. Do you want to know what I chose previously when I did that book? Or do you just want to make your choice uninfluenced?
I'll say, let's make our own choice. Have the surprise.
Okay. Let's see. So, do we trust these people enough to get away from our weapon into a hall of warriors? Or do we not trust them and decide to keep it? See if it's a test or anything like that.
Meh. Well, I have no problem for the weapons.
What about
okay.
you, Trickster? Do you want to get away from your weapon? All of them?
I don't know if I trust getting rid of my weapons, but I think it might be the better option.
What about you, warrior? Do you want to get rid of your axe?
Yes,
And
I want to get rid
magical
of the
sword?
axe.
Alright, and that's what my mage decided to do on my first attempt as well. I decided to be a good visitor. I actually don't know what happens if we just insist on keeping them.
Probably provoke a fight.
It would have been fun.
Yeah, true enough. But again, I mean, if they want to test if we're warriors, we're going to prove to them we are.
By relinquishing our weapons?
Yeah, by fighting without our weapons and show them we're badass.
Alright, so you put your own weapons in the rack beside the traveler's staff. The steward nods, pleased at your ready response. It gladdens the heart to meet with wayfarers who respect the etiquette of the hall. Now then, approach the Hammer King, our Lord Angvar. You are assured of welcome. Turn to 495. The mead that Angvar's serving girls bring you must be magical. You feel a surge of renewed vigor passing through your tired limbs. Any wounded player, even one suffering from Plague Star's curse, can restore his or her endurance score to its normal level. You let the traveler do most of the talking as he seems to know Angvar. "My lord," he says, "we need to pass through the gate guarded by the monster Garm." "Garm," replies Angvar. "A monster is indeed, though less of a monster than his poison-hearted father. Take some of my honey cake, then. Garm is very partial to it, as you know." "Thrud!" Angvar's daughter, Thrud, brings you a parcel of honey cake. One of the players should record this or on his or her character sheet. Thanking Angvar, you rise and take your leave of him. If there is a warrior in the party who wrestled or fought with Angvar, turn to 93. Nope. If the warrior is not here, or if he or she did not face Angvar in battle, turn to 195. So apparently we missed a fight.
Didn't we fight with him? No.
No, it was not the same guy.
Sad face, I guess.
You step out of the welcome warmth of the mead hall into the cold air of Sheol. If you ask Kribo the Raven, turn to 334, and I know the sage does.
Did anybody write down the honey cake?
No, I did not. I could, no problem. Just a moment. I still have 2 spots left, and a lot of weapons which are useless. So I could throw them away if need be. So, honey, cake.
We all know you're an adept swordsman.
I bought some swords at the recommendation of a friend, losing a lot of gold in the process.
That was a good recommendation.
Alright, so since we have Skribo the Raven, for the first time you notice that Skribo is not with you. A loud croak draws your gaze to the upper heaves of the hall, where he sits perched like a disreputable old man. Ignoring all your efforts to entice him down, he stays there, watching you with his beady eyes. You will have to leave him there. The wretched bird, to think you have kept him sheltered and fed all these years. Removing from your character sheet and turn to 351. So whatever usefulness it did have, he no longer has any.
Grateful little son of a bird-feathered bird.
Rip.
If you have so maybe if we did fight Angvar, maybe something would have happened with the Raven, but yeah, we will never know. Because I did not fight him as well, so sucks.
So he never was useful at all for you?
No, unfortunately, I had to get rid of him as well.
So Angvar, we were supposed to face him when or where?
Well,
probably here.
By refusing to relinquish our weapons, probably.
Oh, I see. Should we go back on time? I can't just kidding.
Figured we made our decision.
Yeah.
We chose the peaceful one. And I lost my burn.
We could actually just go back to the point where we started in Sheol and make other decisions if need be.
If we die, yeah, sure. Note the paragraph in case we die.
We are several paragraphs in the future now. I don't remember at all.
Okay, don't note the paragraph then. That's fine.
Okay. If you have the code word tabula, turn to 344. Let's go there, since we do have it. Yeah, if not, then you had done so. You could now visit the Shrine of Summoning. If you do not wish to go there, or have already been, turn to 277 if you have the code word Jalar. To 299 if not. We do not have the code word Jalar.
We do not.
Damn.
Which was probably a code word after beating down Anglars. I'm kidding.
That's fine.
I don't know exactly where we get that one. Okay, the traveler leads you off the moors to a covered bridge which spans the river Lethe. A forest of thick black pines covers the opposite bank. Beyond it rises a misty line that could be a distant mountain range. Go to 256. As you go to set foot on the bridge, a maid in a grey cloak steps out of the shadow in front of you. Her face is fair of feature, but as grey as her robes. Stand aside, Mudgood, said the traveler, brandishing his staff. Except for your words, you have no power to deter us from crossing. I shall not even try to dissuade you, scion of the Sugensiki, she replies in a low voice. Then turning to you, she says, has your guide told you of this river, whose water brings forgetfulness? Many souls choose to drink here so as to forget their past lives. Pay her no heed, says the traveler, moving past her along the bridge. She will keep you here talking until the end of time if she has her way. If you think it is worth collecting some of the river water in case it comes in useful later, turn to 184. If you drink from it now, decide which players are doing so, and they should turn to 321. If you follow the traveler across the bridge, turn to 73.
Not drinking unknown water. I'm okay.
So we have 3 choices. Either we just move on, we collect some of the forgetful water, or we drink some.
Not drinking it. I'm okay.
Collecting it? No?
You can if you wish. Do you have some room?
Yeah, I have 1 space left.
Then that's fine. You can collect it if you wish.
Okay, Trickster.
Is this a trap? I don't know.
I'm good with just following the traveler over the bridge.
Yeah.
Alright, well, apparently the sage allowing the warrior to collect some of it leads us to 184. Perhaps you're right, says the traveler after you have called him back and told him what you think. He lowers himself down the bank and collects some of the river water in his skin. This he hands to one of the players, who should note that he or she is now carrying some Lethean water. You can drink from the water skin at any time except when in combat. There is enough for all players. If you do drink, turn to 312 after first noting the number of the entry you're reading at the time. Noted that, warrior?
I
So
am noting it, but man, it's low.
So Lethean water, 312.
312.
312, basically.
Yeah. That's 12. Lethean water. I don't know how to write that. It's done.
Alright, now we can turn to 73. Mudgood chuckles quietly to herself as she watches you cross the bridge. In the shadows of his wooden roof, glittering eyes open and peer at you as you pass. They are illusory, says the traveler when he sees how the eerie scrutiny unnerves you, just as Mudgood's word only appears to have meaning. In fact, she was set here by the northern gods and cannot leave, but other than this, she has no duty, responsibility, or purpose, not even to guard the bridge. So she invents things to say to such as you and me, and tries to entice them into drinking the water of Lethe so they might become as motiveless as she. You emerge from the bridge into a thick forest that comes right down to the river bank. Between the massive trees sits a nightmare darkness that you cannot imagine any torch would penetrate. The traveler is more optimistic. He lights his lantern and fixes its handle into the fork at the end of his staff. It casts enough light for you to see the ground in front of your feet. Is there need for such haste, you call after him as you advance into the forest? Indeed there is. Are you not aware that your connection with the mortal world is attenuating with each hour you remain in Sheol? Delay your return for too long, and you will be cursed to wander here forever, as I am. It is an unwelcome piece of news, and you can see why Entasius preferred not to mention it. Putting it from your mind, you look around at the shadow-shrouded buffs, and require where you are now. This is ironwood, the traveler says, flicking a pine needle. It rings with a metallic note. Monsters, you ask, staring to absolute blackness ahead of you? Some, no doubt. I don't know the details. If we traverse the wood with all speed, we may get to the Gate of Mist, happily none the wiser. Go to 544.
Mm-hmm.
You pass on through the ironwood. Perhaps it takes hours, a tableau vivant with you shuffling cautiously along the needle-strewn ground, suspended in infinite darkness with only the pool of soft light from the traveler's lamp to show you the way. Once a noise like a cough leaps out of the dark and rattles the branch above you. The traveler shrugs when he sees the startled look on your eyes. Who knows what creature lurks in the wood, he says. Some say they are the ghosts of old giants from Ymir's day, who ruled the cosmos before the coming of the gods. But there's only one god, you remind him. You should pray he is with you now, then, he replies with a cryptic laugh, for we are truly walking towards the valley of death's shadow. But behold, we are out of the iron wood, and there's the gate. Go to 87, so basically we're past the woods. A wall stretches off into the darkness along the forest edge. It is not a wall of wood or stone, but a phosphorescent mist that shifts and swims. So basically we are at the Gate of Mist right here. We pass the Iron Wood, we pass the covered bridge, we pass Angvar's Mead Hall. We seem to have visited a lot of things here, but we are at the gate. The only breach in the wall is guarded by a monstrous being with the head of a wolf. It is Garm, says the traveler. The wolf-headed giant gives a snarl and lopes forward to attack. If you have a parcel of honey cake, turn to 451, and we do. You rip open the package and show the cake to Garm. His eyes glitter greedily as he sniffs at it. Cake for Garm, he barks. He has no tail, but if he did, then it would surely be wagging. Garm squats on a boulder and begins to devour the honey cake. Fine, he declares when it's finished. You realize that he isn't very bright. Then it's all right for us to go through the gateway, says the traveler. The monster waves a clawed hand. Right, but don't tell anyone I let you through. Of course we won't, the traveler calls back as he leads you into the gate of mist. Under his breath, you hear him says, Iya Nahinu. Turn to 69. 69. There we go. There's a lot of reading. Sorry if there's not much choice here on that part. You emerge on the other side of the glowing mist wall. A vast, flat plain stretches out ahead of you, featureless except for a few pebbles and clumps of sickly heather. It seems to have gotten darker now, you remark to the traveler. The sky, formerly gloomy grey, has become a curtain of velvet black. There are no stars. As we penetrate the regions closer to where death keeps its vigil, we are sinking deeper into night, he says. Sheol, as you call it, is like a dream world where time is more dependent on location than on logic. It is also why the things we encounter seems disjointed and unreal. There are dream fragments of the mythologies of death that are familiar to you. You take your first few steps across the plain. It is impossible to tell how far you might have to go to reach a distant line of mountains. It could be hundreds of miles. And this place is? You ask your guide. The territory separating the inhabited, normal regions of Sheol from the inner landscape of primordiality. Essentially, this corresponds to the distinction between the commonplace world of dreams and the darkest depths of the unconscious. To draw a parallel from Amphibian myth, we are leaving the asphodel fields behind. Ahead lies Tartarus. You know something about Amphibian myth, even if the rest of what he says makes no sense. You stare across the desolate plain. In other words, you reply, we are walking into hell. If you have the code word wander, go to 425. Again, no choice. That's apparently enough time to heal properly, I guess. 425. Mile after mile, you trudge across the plain. No animals stir in the crevices between the rocks. No feature stands out in the landscape to give any sense of distance traveled. Not even the wind moves across this barren land. Only your own hushed voices break the silence. Cordelia falls behind. She still has not spoken. You almost forgot she was with you, and turn around suddenly, fearful that she has slipped back into the darkness from which you summoned her. But no, she's still there, walking uncertainly but constantly in your shadow. After a while, you begin to feel hypnotized by the inhuman bleakness of the panorama. You talk no more. There's nothing left to say. It seems you are stumbling into a dream. By the way, we are in the plane of no return. We might come across a TPK. I'm saying that as a spoiler, but we might come across as a TPK.
Okay.
What I want to ask you, do you want me to tell you what we should do to avoid this?
We'll have the surprise. Make sure that you get us somewhere that we can safely return to then.
Alright, so let's note down the number 425, please.
Done.
Alright, any players who do not have the code word lighten should turn to 329, and none of us have the code word lighten. 329. If anyone survives, however, it will not be a TPK and we'll have to continue. Alright, your legs feel like lead. How long have you been walking across this plain? You seem to black out for a moment. Now you cannot remember. As though you waded through the depths of sleep, each step is more onerous than the last. You look down at your feet and gasp in horror. The ground has become the faces of the people you have known throughout your life, friends and enemies alike. Their gaping mouths twist soundlessly as they gnaw at your feet. Their hands reach up from nowhere to snatch at your leg. You stumble to your knees, desperately clawing your way onward, even though you have forgotten your destination. The traveler glances back. He is unaffected by the ghastly vision. You have walked into the mire of mortality, he shouts. Memories of your life are sucking you down, trying to stop you from entering the deepest part of Death's realm. Avert your eyes. Each player should roll 3 dice, trying to score less than or equal to their psychic ability. A player who fails the roll is absorbed into the mire of mortality, ceasing to exist in either the land of life or the land of death. The player and all his or her
Great.
equipment are lost forever.
Stuff. 3 dice?
All right, let's go.
Ha ha ha!
I failed.
I barely managed to pull it off.
You seriously managed?
I
That's
got
nice.
no.
I failed by 1 point.
Oh, do you?
Yes. I
Oh,
did
damn.
not roll yet. And I so fail. Alright, so Sage, you're alive. A player succeeds in
Good
making player succeeds in making the roll, manages to cast away these last obstacles and progress to the edge of the plane unharmed. As mentioned before, players with the code word Lighten do not see the visions at all and can proceed without making the roll. Surviving players turn to 342. Alright, so Pierre, you're now
I'm gonna
in
die.
You're in the solo team.
Yeah, right. As I'm so much equipped for that. Well, that's kind of suck. And I cannot even recuperate the equipment. Nice.
That is
Good.
correct. No, we simply see that. No need to remove your endurance, Trickster. You simply cease to.
No, I
exist.
know. I'm dead. I have disappeared into the ground.
Oh, shit.
Non-existence. And non-existence. There we go.
Well,
Let's see
rip.
what the future holds for you.
Yeah, dead.
All right.
I'll try my best, though.
At
It's
last, you
it's
hear
gonna be
sounds from ahead.
entertaining.
The cry of a solitary night bird, the babble of running water, the soft creak of branches stirring in the wind. If you ask Kribo the Raven with you and at least one player as the code word Lighten, turn to 520. Otherwise, turn to
Well, the
93.
fucking bastards left away. I don't have the bird.
Yep, that is correct. That's probably because he judged us cowards that won't fight.
Fucking bird.
I don't know. I actually don't know if we will.
Maybe that's the case. Maybe we had to fight the guy, get the keyword, get the bird, get everything. But because we didn't do because we didn't know.
Actually,
we
that's not
are
the answer. That's not the answer of going through the plane of no return.
screwed.
But we could try it out if the sage dies. Let's see. We have reached the end of the plane, announces the traveler, and now we are truly in Death's heartland. Neno Katatsu, as it's called by the people of my country. See that river? It is the one the ancient amphibians knew as the Styx, the river of hate. River Styx. You stand on the bank of the river. Instead of water, it looks like black ink. Pallid fish darts through and fro just under the surface. The Styx apparently flows from the mountain range you saw earlier, passing through a shadowy wood and between 2 round hills on the course of the ocean. You look across the hill on the other side of the river, catching a faint glimpse of something moving there. Signs of life, you muse. Life? Says the traveler with a short laugh. Assuredly not. Beyond the hills stands a tower whose upper windows shine with emerald light. The traveler mentions it is the tower of someone called Steno, but that is all that he knows. I cannot say whether the Steno would make us welcome or not, he says. In any case, we'd have to cross the Styx to get there. A boat you had somehow failed to notice before is approaching from the far bank. The ferryman regards you from the depths of his hooded cloak. The boat must be propelled by magic, as he does not touch the oars. If this is the river Styx, then the ferryman must be Karen. And not Karen, Charon? Anyway, Charon, who conveys the souls of the departed to their final resting place. Whether he will take you across remains to be seen. Turn to 49. Charon's boat drifts in toward the bank where you are standing. His face is invisible inside the blackness of his cowl. Speaking in a voice of leaden tones, he says, "You are from the mortal world. Do you wish to cross the river?" If you say yes, turn to 36. If you say no, turn to 21.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's cross the river.
Alright, 36. After a moment of silence, Charon replies, "The fee is 1 obol per passenger." Obols are antique copper coins. If you have enough of them to pay for each player to cross, turn to 469. It's not the case, we don't have any copper coins. If you don't have any obols...
I won't.
Sorry?
I don't. Wait. If I have any gold piece, I don't think so. No.
Nope. You need copper coins. And you don't have copper coins.
All right. I don't.
If you don't have any obols but a trickster is here, he or she should turn to 244. Otherwise, you must remain on this side of the river. Turn to 21. Welp. 21.
Good luck.
Gonna be consumed by the sticks.
Only for a moment you glance away from Charon to consult with the traveler. When you turn back to tell him that you will not be crossing, he has faded away like mist. "It makes no difference which bank of the Styx we proceed along," says the traveler. "The river issues from the Screaming Mountains, and that is where our quest takes us." Turn to 515. So you basically miss the tower, but you can basically just go along in the Forest of Night's Abyss, apparently. The ground along the riverbank is carpeted with grass and moss, giving you an easy path as you follow the course of Styx toward the Screaming Mountains. You pass a lightly wooded hill, and there is another very similar hill visible in the distance on the other side of the river. "Some have ventured to call them Hell's Paps," says the traveler when you mention the hills, "because of their rounded shape. Personally, I consider it inadvisable to refer to Hell with just bold-faced familiarity. She does not have a forgiving temperament." You laughed. "So what? We'll soon to be face to face with death. If it is his temperament we have to worry about." "Perhaps Hell is one of the faces of death," he replies. "Others have called him Hazrael, or Pluto, or Hades, or Yama, or Osiris, or Yemmatin. For many who inhabit this realm, of course, the face of death is the face of those who murdered them. I am one of these." "You were murdered?" "Foully. I mean to have my revenge, however." He seems about to say more, then stops himself. "We must concentrate on the matter at hand. Before us lies the Forest of Night's Abyss. Do not stray from the path, or you will never emerge from it. With that caveat in mind, though, it holds no dangers. If you have the code word wander, turn to 319.
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
319. Yes. "Cordelia has been like a sleepwalker since you left the Shrine of Summoning. Now as you step between the pillar-like trees that mark the forest boundary, she looks around, showing interest in her surroundings for the first time. You think that she might be about to speak, but instead she merely bends to cup a hand around a solitary flower, only to drift on along the path without plucking it. Go to 341. 341. Tangled branches spread above your heads like a cobweb. Here and there, clouds of white mist hang as though trapped amid the ragged foliage. Dark leaf mold squelches underfoot as you venture onward, and a sickly sweet smell rises from livid mushrooms that line the river bank. A twig snaps nearby. You glance around to see a black unicorn with a silver horn standing only a dozen paces away among the tree. When you call out, it watches you coldly and paws the ground, but comes no closer. So do you go over and take the reins of the black unicorn, or do you ignore it and continue along the riverbank?
What about the black unicorn?
There's a black unicorn in the forest. You shout to him, he just looks at you. You take his reins, or do you just ignore him and go along your way?
I'm gonna ignore black unicorn. I don't trust that.
Then again, we don't know if your sage is a virgin, so at this point it's probably for the best.
Yeah, probably.
Alright, let's continue to the riverbank. 530. Eventually, you leave the dark forest behind. You are now walking across windswept open country towards a range of vast storm-shrouded mountain. The Styx is a violent torrent here, cascading over occasional rapids in its course downwards from the mountains. You look back and see the moon rising over the treetops. Seen through drifting banks of coppery cloud, it seems sickly and stark. Can that even be the same moon that shines on the mortal world? You wonder? It is the same, says the traveler. It is you who have changed. A shadow drifts across the clouds. Squinting into the lunar glare, you scan the heavens. Something is descending from the sky towards you. Something large. It draws nearer and you see it, a giant human-like head with blue skin, flying on wings that grow on its temples. The hair begins to feel charged with energy. Your air stands on end. A call cracks out, unmistakably a battle cry. Look up into the face of Li Kung, the Minister of Lightnings, you errant mortals. I am the Spitter of Flame, the Searer of Soul, the Thunder-voiced Lord. The challenge rumbles across the sky and resounds up the mountain. Do you stand your ground and fight? You can stand your ground and fight, look for an item to use, or make it run for it.
Well, I'm
Do you
pretty
think you
sure
have any
I.
item that can defeat a Spirit of Thunder?
The Eye of Typhoon, but it's gone. Gone with the wind.
I have a pair of crystal eyes.
Maybe. Do you want to try and use an item?
Yes.
Okay. 333.
I can also use a week of rations. We never know.
Yeah, effectively. So
Throw
you
it on
can
his face.
either use a long copper rod, a mirrored shield, a magical orb, or a mage's wand. If you have none of these, go to 171.
Shit. None of these.
171. You cannot reach Lei Kung to engage him in close combat, so you must rely on spells, arrows, and other long-range attacks. But if there's a sage in the party, then he or she can levitate up to engage Lei Kung and can therefore make fight rolls as usual. For his part, Lei Kung can easily strike down at you with his crackling, white-hot tongue. Lei Kung has a fighting prowess of 9. He inflicts 4 dice 6 damage per blow, psychic ability of 9, awareness of 8, an armor rating of 0, endurance of 35, less any wounds already inflicted. So, Lei Kung's attacks count as lightning, so if you have an item that defends against electrical energy, it will work in this case. So, do you fight or do you attempt to flee? You can take the flee action at any time, so if you want to fight him, you can.
I'll try to fight that beast, but I'll get whacked.
Alright. Let's make his stats. Just a moment. There's not been a lot of fights during that part of the book. The last fight we had was Typhon the Giant.
Yeah, now that I'm alone, I stand a lot of chance getting through that monstrosity, of course.
Actually, you do stand some chance. Some chance.
Yeah.
You can do it.
We believe in you.
I'm not suited for combat. I suck.
Hey, you could use your
believe in the art of the staff.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm like.
So Lei Kung. With L, there we go.
You pussycat.
What do you mean, pussycat?
Just mumbling to myself.
Okay. Alright, I want to load up the battle map because you are technically all on the same plane. You can basically affect each other with any of your abilities if you want. So I'll just pop up as life bar.
Didn't I need to use levitation to get near him?
But technically, the fight assumes that it doesn't take you an action to reach him with levitation.
Okay. Well, at least I don't have a bad choice on levitating, so that's good.
By the way, both you and Lei Kung have an awareness of 8, meaning that you basically go at the same time. So let's go for the first round. He will attempt to strike you down with his tongue. And he misses.
Good. We have no map?
No, it's basic. No, there's no map on that fight.
Okay. Well, at that point, what I'll try to do is use my staff technique to try to hit.
It does extra damage,
crit-
if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Well, I need 3 dice to hit him, I
Yeah,
think.
that is correct. It means that
And-
you inflict an extra 1d6 endurance damage, and his next action it will be at the end of the round. So basically, you would have
Yeah.
an awareness of 1 for the purposes of initiative.
Well, let's try it. I'll probably fail. Yeah,
And you fail.
I did.
Okay, second round. He tries to affect you, and this time hits you. So 4d6 damage, I think. Yep, 4d6. And that's 17 minus armor.
-5.
So 12.
Uh,
All right. As of you, what do you do?
hmm.
You hit him normally. Do you still use the quarterstaff technique?
I'll probably fail if I use the quarterstaff technique.
Probably.
Does he have any?
He does have a quarterstaff technique, yes.
What does it do?
Basically, if he managed to hit on 3 dice instead of 2, he does 1d6 more damage, and he reduces the initiative of the enemy to 1.
For one turn? Or
For 1 for his next action, basically.
I'll try it one last time.
man,
Probably gonna regret it.
that's good.
And you miss, I think. Do you
I
miss?
regretted it.
Alright, so round 3. Li Kung still attacks with his tongue and hits, managing to inflict 11 more damage minus armor, so 6 more damage.
3, 18. Alright. No, wait, 17, sorry.
Yep.
Well, what I'll do here is that I'm gonna heal myself.
Oh, yeah, you have that jar.
Well, I'm not gonna go and die without trying to put out a fight. So what I'll do is that I'll edit it, but like in another part in case that we need to like repeat the prior in another place.
Alright.
So that way it's gonna be easier for me to track. Well then. 1 use then done. So 11 hit points.
That is nice. You can gain them back. Now we go in the 4th round, and Li Kung will try to attack. Still hits, and does 14 damage minus armor. So 9 damage. Your turn. Do you put some more ointment? Oh,
Sure.
that's a miss.
Yeah.
Alright. 5th round. Li Kung attacks, misses. You hit, however.
No, that was for the ointment.
Okay,
Sucks.
yeah, so you heal 6.
Yeah. Oh, 5.
Alright. Next round, 6th one if I'm not mistaken. Li Kung attacks, manages to hit, and inflicts 10 more damage minus armor, so he inflicts a total of 5 damage.
Oh, I can endure that. Oh.
By the way, you can decide to flee at any moment.
I attack. Wait. No, it's
Yeah.
one. No, it's okay.
You might-
Well then, die.
Oh no, 7 damage. Whatever will he do?
So
Right, next round.
at least.
He strikes back, managing to hit and inflicting an extra 13 point of damage, minus 5, so 8 point of damage.
So I heal of 7.
You heal of 7.
Sucks. All right. Dice 8s me.
Alright, next round. Li Kung hits and inflicts 13 more points, so 8 more points of damage.
Ridiculous.
Well, that's an enemy that does 4 dice 6 of damage. Healing of 2 dice
Yeah,
6
but
is
you
not.
hit like each fucking round.
He has 9 of fighting prowess. And no, he did miss 2 rounds in that fight.
Yeah, you did.
So what do you do, Sage?
Oh, that was how much damage?
13 minus 5, which means
13
8.
minus 5. I guess I should be lower than that. I was having
You're supposed to
19.
be at 11. So what do you do?
I guess I'll flee because I suck.
Alright, let's see what happens when you flee. Or when you attempt to flee.
He
So we
turned
go to
you
85.
into stone.
85. If you are in a multiplayer party, turn to 362. If you are the only player, turn to 289. Well, you're the only player. 289. Li Kun flaps overhead, taunting you by spitting down lightning bolts that scorch the ground at your heels. You soon realize you cannot get away from him. You will either have to stand and fight, or else find an item to use against him. And we already mentioned that
okay.
you don't have any items to use against him,
So
we go
it
to
was useless.
113.
Good. It was useless. Good to know.
Fight it out, go to 171, and the fight restarts. Basically, well, not restarts. Basically, you still keep the
Resumes.
same items. So let's continue. You both have the same initiative. So in that round, Li Kung
Then I'll try
hits
to heal.
and manage to inflict 7 more damage upon you. That's counting armor.
Nah. Try to heal. As if I stand a chance.
How much do you heal?
Probably not enough.
Well, 9.
Which will be worthless because you'll snatch it from me right away. But hey, let's try to be optimistic.
It's a little something about the action economy. You're one-on-one, so basically healing yourself leaves you open for more attacks. So next round, Li Kung hits and does 15, so 10 damage.
Wow, see, that was such
No, yeah,
good
the action
thing.
economy is against you right now. You might die.
I probably will. Don't worry.
You have 3 endurance points remaining. What do you decide to do?
Guess what? I have no choice but to heal for 3, so I will probably
You always
die.
have choice.
No, I can't flee, Adam. I
You
don't
can
have
attack.
choice.
And I hope he
Come
doesn't
on.
hit you. And by the way, you're at 3 points of
Right.
endurance, not 6. Oh, okay, no, you ailed 3. Okay. Okay. So next round. Well, he hits, and would you know that? He would kill you. You can still do one last attack on him, but it won't do a thing. Well, it will do something, but it won't be enough to kill him. So,
For how much damage?
well, 15 minus your armor.
Okay, so
That's
that means 10, so I'm at -4.
That is correct.
Alright, well then I guess just for the giggle of it, I'll
You'll be
I'll
vindictive.
No, I'll try to heal. Which I get 1 hit point, so I'm still alive.
Okay, next round. Let's see. And he misses.
Oh wow.
You heal again, or do you still have any charge left on your healing thing?
I would have 3 more charges, but would it really matter?
Probably not.
There you go.
Do
And
you
do
hit
I
with that?
hit him? I'm not sure.
What's your fighting prowess?
No, 8, so no.
No, basically that's a miss. Next round, he hits, and well, you probably deader than dead, but it does 10 damage minus armor, so 5.
5, so I got -6, so just for the giggle of it.
Be right back.
Okay. By the way,
I'm really dead.
the healing
Good.
is not enough, and you die. All right.
Yeah.
So that's the end of this adventure, boys. Now we will probably have to decide where we go back to. Fortunately for us, we can just probably return at any point in the land of the dead. So we will keep the genie's blessing and stuff like that, but we'll have to determine where we go. So I guess that for the moment it means that it will be the end of that recording, except if we restart right away and decide on the point where we go back to. What do you say, guys?
Well, I think that perhaps we should try to go further.
What about you, Trickster?
I'm down to keep trying again.
All right. So, and Francis was saying that he would go. They would go back. So at this point, since he's absent, I'll just pause the video and then we'll go back once he comes back to the site.
Back.
Oh, you're back.
So do we still try our luck with the TPK stuff?
Or do we go back in time even forward? So, for instance, we could change some things. We could decide not to scale the cliff for Typhon's Ring. We could decide to visit the village instead of the Shrine of Summoning. We could decide to fight Angvar. So
yeah, how about trying to fight Angmar, right?
I will try to go to the village, I'd say. Is Andre still here?
I'm still here.
All right.
Okay.
So, Andre, what do you think? How far back do we need to go? And do not say book 1. I'm tired of trying book 1.
Book 3.
So you want to go back and try again before we had the genie's wish?
Well, you said don't say book 1.
Okay. But what do you truly want us to go back to? If you say book 3, I will respect that.
Well, if we go back to the mapping spot, and then we can try going to the village instead and see what happens there.
Alright, sounds like a plan. I will need some time to find the thing, however, so if you don't mind, I will
should we cross some word that we got then, or?
We should cross the words wander. We should cross the words... what other words do we have?
We have Tabula, Wonder, Nexus.
Tabula is when we got the map, basically. So at this point, we should stay with it. Wonder is the one that we got when we got Cordelia. It's not happened yet, so we can cross it off. And Nexus already happened, so we keep that one.
So I'll put a Nex beside the Wonder in case we get it back.
Alright, I'll just put this recording on pause and find the shoeback. I think I know the paragraph where the map is. Should not be very bad to find. And we are back. We are back on the recording, and now we have just found the map of the Plane of No Return. So on the inventory, just make sure that you don't have any items that we got after. For instance, I will remove the honey cake because I do not have that yet. The sage should probably replenish the amount of
Arrow.
Yep, the amount of arrows. As well as the jar of ointment. You know, the number of uses you have left.
Yeah, no, that's already done.
Okay, so that's good. Let's go and return on the playing field because yay. Do you want me to... Alright. I will give you a clue about the Plane of No Return. Would you like a clue?
We drink from the river, so we forget everything, and then we get the code word.
So, you are actually correct. Since the Plane of No Return is a plane where your memory assaults you, if you don't have any memory, they cannot affect you. So we need to forget everything to traverse the plane.
Alright, well then, let's do that.
Will we forget our... I don't know.
I will not reveal
Our
what
mission?
the water does to us. So at this point, I will describe it as soon as we try it. But let's just remember that we should probably try to remove our memories just before we cross the plane. Not
Okay.
before that, not after that.
Well, then, when do we drink the water? Like,
Well, we don't have the water yet. That's one thing. Anybody
Well,
that was
that's
holding
like-
any kind of water from the Lethe or from the Acheron or from the sticks should remove that.
Okay.
But
we'll,
I'd say just before we start to cross the plane. Like when
Yeah.
they ask us if we have the code word lighten or not.
yeah, but we'll probably need though the other water to regain our memory though.
Yes.
Probably. That seems to be another part of the puzzle, although I will not reveal, say yes or no.
But for now, well, can we still go to the shrine, summon the person, and then go to the village? In that order?
After we visit the shrine, there's no option to go to the village.
Ah. Let's go to the village before then.
That's why I suggested to the part where we got the map, because that gives us the choice between the shrine and the village.
Alright, let's try it out. 265 then. It has none of the bustle or street
Did you
smells
say
of...
you're recording again?
Yes, we are. We are.
Okay, just making sure.
It has none of the bustle or street smells of a normal village. The inhabitants stand around listlessly or move in straggling groups. Deathly pale, they watch your arrival with haunted eyes. You find the tavern thick with dust. The innkeeper and his patrons seems drained of energy. They do not blink, nor lick their lips, nor sweat, nor breathe. The innkeeper's wife nods without speaking and pushes a flagon of ale towards you. It tastes like pond water. We see few strangers there, says a man. Few strangers here, says a man standing at the bar. He has a deep gash across his forehead, but the blood around it is as dry as rust. He sees you looking at it. An old wound, he says, but a mortal one. The door swings open and someone else enters. From the way the villagers look at him, you guess that he is also a stranger here. He saunters over to you, eyes glittering under the shade of his wide-brimmed hat. He wears an old travel-soiled cloak and tunic, and across his shoulder is slung a long staff. A lantern swings from the crook at one end of it. He introduces himself with a formal bow. I was known by various names, including Agalmondistios in life. When I first came to this land, I took the name Otio. Now I am called the Traveler. I will guide you to death himself. You smile non-committedly. Interesting. Why would you do that? Because of a debt I incurred in my past life. It is a personal matter, which I do not care to go into at this time, though I will explain later. Have you eaten? He pays across a few tarnished silver coins and points to a table. The innkeeper brings you a loaf of better black bread and a pot of lard. Turn to 465. These people, says the traveler, are the shades of those recently dead. They still carry much of the semblance of life, though I dare say you would not mistake them for mortal men. You look around, shuddering slightly as you catch the soulless gaze of the tavern's patrons. Indeed not. The traveler breaks up a crust of black bread, but shows no interest in eating it. They are troubled by a terror that haunts their existence here, for they all transgressed in a minor way against fate, and the gods when they were alive. They are chastised for it now. There is only one god, you reply curtly. If you ask him what form the villagers' chastisement takes, turn to 155. If you're not interested, turn to 275. Do we take some interest in the fates of villagers?
Yes, we must
Oh.
know what's going on.
Sure.
Sure.
Alright, 155. The traveler smiles. Perhaps you are moved to pity by their fate. Do not be. It's only what they deserve. Several of the villagers have overheard your conversation. Even the foulest tyrant of ancient Silentium would not deserve so horrible a punishment as it meted out to us, says one. Had he cried out in impassioned resentment, you might have thought him alive. But instead he speaks in a hollow moan that chills the blood in your veins. Help us, insists another in a voice equally cold. As your guide, I must counsel you to ignore them, says the traveler. Whatever their fate, and whether you feel it to be just or unjust, we will only imperil the quest for the sword of life if we allow ourselves to get involved. Yay! Another NPC that knows what we're looking for.
It's probably just like pinned in the every walls of the dead land. Just say, "Oh, look, these fools are looking for the blood sword."
All right, so we have two
I mean,
choices. We can either decide to heed the travelers' counsel and ignore them, or we could try and help them.
Let's help them. I'm a sage. I must help people.
What says you,
Reward
Trickster?
seems to be always a good option when it comes to that.
Helping people, you mean?
Well, I mean, anything that, is a side quest.
What about you, warrior? Decide to help some dead villagers?
Well, they are dead for a reason, I'd say, but why did he say they deserve what they got?
He did not specify why. But the dead people seem to be very much convinced that their punishment is not what they deserve.
Let's try and help them.
Alright, just to let you know, I have no idea what will come next because I decided to ignore them and follow my guide last time I read that book. So let's see what it does. Alright, so let's see. If we agree to help the villagers, go to 538. 538. Let's see. The traveler seems amused and faintly exasperated when you insist on lending a hand. You can change nothing, he says with a sigh. Perhaps you subscribe to the view that any act of charity or succor is merely a slap in the face of unrelenting chaos, you reply. However, such cynicism may stem from being a ghost. Living men must struggle on as long as breath is left in their lungs, whether the struggle is futile or not. You turn to the villager. Explain the situation. The innkeeper steps forward. There are beings we call the feasting dead, he says. They are cacodemons. They come at intervals and seize one or two of us. Those they bear away are taken to a fate we cannot guess at. I think you know their fate well enough, puts in the traveler. You motion them to silence. The feasters are due here soon, continues the landlord in his monotonous voice. We implore you to stay and destroy them. Do you say you will, or do you refuse this plea?
Sounds like we got a nice fight coming up.
Well,
So he wants us to destroy the villager?
no, he wants us, the innkeeper wants us to destroy beings that are called the feasting dead, that are capturing villagers at intervals of 1 or 2.
Oh yeah, sure.
What about you, warrior? Still going on?
Demons.
Cacodemons. You know,
Sure.
like Doom.
Thing do again. Cacodemons. Seriously?
No, it literally spells in the book Cacodemons. Cacodemons.
Sounds like a doom demon. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is literally the name of one of the demons from Doom. Alright, so do you want to help the villagers against the cacodemons or not?
Yeah, let's try and help them.
Alright, I think that's a decision for the group. The villagers nod, unsmiling, and drone their thanks. You take up a position by the door and begin preparations for combat. How will the feasters arrive, you ask them. There will be a cry of a screech owl, says one. As you must certainly know, the screech owl is the harbinger of dismay and death. When you hear its cry, make ready, for the feasters will hear it too and come in off the moors in answers to a summon. Okay. So, we have 3 choices. The sage could try something, or the trickster could try something.
Sage.
So the warrior votes for the sage, but it says you, sage, do you want to try?
So, Trickster, the Irish roll try something on the dice 6. Fine with you?
I mean, if the warrior wants you to try something, I mean, you could always try something.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, I'll try something then.
All right, 360. You go out into the street and use your power of levitation to rise high into the sky above the village. From this vantage point, you can see the feasting dead picking their way across the moors that are still more than half a mile away. Before you descend, you take a look at the surrounding landscape. The river running past the village is crossed some distance upstream by a covered bridge. On the far bank is a dense forest of tall black firs. Firs, I mean like sapine, the coniferous trees. You can also see some sort of shrine beside a glittering lake, and far beyond that to the limit of vision, a splendid mead hall of the sort of found in the lands of the north. Record the code word glimpse on your character sheet and descent.
Alright.
Okay, so at this point, if we are in a multiplayer party, the Trickster can try to do something on page 84 if he wants.
Alright, let's see what I can do.
You go out into the street and look around. A screech owl is perched on the roof of the building opposite. Before it can utter a cry, you pick up a stone and fell it with a well-aimed throw. It drops to the street, and you carry it back to the inn. No harbinger, no dismay, you say to the village. You can fling the owl into a table. Why not make yourself an appetizing stew? And if any more screech owls show up, just give them the same treatment. The traveler gets up and fetches his lantern and staff. Ingenious. Now let's be on our way. If you have the code word tabula, go to 467.
We do. We do.
Alright, you are on the bank of the river Lethe. If you follow it upstream, you will come to a bridge. Away from the river, your map shows a structure marked as the Shrine of Summoning beside the Pool of Remembrance. Further inland, where the Lethe splits from Acheron, stands Angvar's Mead Hall. So, do we go to the bridge, the shrine, or the Mead Hall?
The shrine.
The Shrine of Summoning!
By the way, the bridge is the one where we met the person with the stream of forgetfulness, Angvar's Mead Hall, Shrine of Summoning. I think if we do the things in order, we could go to the Shrine of Summoning.
Yeah. Good with me.
222. Let's see. Alright, so the Pool of Remembrance. We go to 348 for the information the sage knows. I'm just skipping some things because I don't want to just go to the.
We should
whole
get
thing.
back the Wonder Word and.
Not yet at this point. Well, I'm just skipping the description of the water and what the traveler. I'm also skipping the prediction, so like 423. All right. So anybody that wants to drink from the pool, or do we just collect it and then go to the shrine?
Can we drink and collect it?
If you want to drink it right now for the Pool of Remembrance, do remember that the description said that you will remember all the ordeals of your life at the same time, which can drive you mad or kill you.
Yeah. No, we'll collect it and we'll drink on the other pool. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll collect it, and the warrior still wants the bottle.
Yeah, I'll take the bottle.
All right.
Good.
So bottle of water from the Pool of Remembrance, 496. Sounds good.
Damn, I'll just like throw that scammy sword. But still in my inventory.
So have you noted it down, warrior?
Yeah, it's noted.
All right. Now, do we go to the shrine?
Yep.
Would have been hilarious. Somebody said, "No, fuck Entasius' wife. We just go alone."
No. We'll go to the shrine and get it.
So, do we use the horn?
I mean, we could say that. I mean, we really need her for.
Well,
I mean-
it basically is a way to help Entasius. That actually got us to the land of the dead.
Yeah. Let's get his wife.
Yeah, we kind of made a vow for that first. So me being a knight, I need to respect the vow and.
So we already know that icon will not work, even if any spirit in the land of the dead should be summoned to these things, according to the traveler which was next to us. So at this point, we summoned Cordelia, I guess.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sorry if I'm just being doing the
No,
skipping
no,
because
no.
at this point. Okay, now we can note the code word wander.
We have a new code word.
All right, then we go there. We don't try to. Do we try to summon anything else? I don't think so.
No, we don't know those people, so we shouldn't be able to summon them.
All right, so do we move on from the shrine?
Yes.
All right.
We had nothing more to do there.
All right, so we have the code word tabula, so let's go to 497. Alright, if you have not already done so, you can now visit the place marked on the map as Angvar's Mead Hall. Do we want to do that right now?
Yeah, let's go into the hall.
To the hall.
To the hall. Let's see, 142, 142, 142, 142, 222.
And this time we fight!
Let's be impolite, invitees, and just refuse to get away with our weapons. Angvar's Wall, okay, let's go for the honey cake. Let's go to 166. Angvar's Hall is built at the point where the Lethe and Acheron diverge. It is a magnificent high gabled building of rare red timber, blah blah blah. Unburied dead. We get invited in, 526. We step into the hall, the steward stops us. We go to 563. Now we decide whether or not we relinquish our weapons or not.
Oh,
Don't
Nice
relinquish the weapons.
my stuff. I'm keeping my stuff. My stuff, your stuff.
Alright. Only a fool would part with his weapons for even an instant in such a land as this, you declaim. You glance sidelong at the steward, but your words are meant for Angvar's ears. The red-bearded lord leans forward in his chair. His cloak is a bare skin that scarcely covers his broad shoulders. You could easily believe that he tore the pelt from a beast slain with his own hands. He speaks to the traveler, but his word seems intended for you. Who is it you bring with you, godless wanderer? You are welcome here in my hall as long as you work no mischief. Aye, even though you have the look about you of my sly foster brother, whose tongue breaks word locks. But any you bring with you who must obey the honor code of the hall, or it is best and simplest that they leave. Traveler bows to him. You're generous, my lord. A lesser man might be moved to anger by such a breach of etiquette. Turns to you. Do as the stewards bids you, or we must leave now. Do we relinquish our weapon? Do we seek your leave, or do we just march straight to Angvar with weapons in hand?
Straight with the bar with weapons in hand.
March on.
Okay. Apparently that's braved the heck out of him. The steward and several other warriors stand forward to bar your way. Their eyes are burning with anger. How is it you have the gall to flout our lord's command? Snarls one. Were you not made welcome when we might as easily have barred the doors against you? Were you not given greeting where we might as easily have set upon you with swords as you entered? By coming here with thoughts of arm, you have earned your life's ending. If the warrior's here and wants to try something, turn to 54. If not, you must fight.
I am here and I will try to do something.
Yeah, for the few times you're actually allowed to do something.
Let me do something!
Who better
Ash
than
is
you
called
to deal
before he
with
notices
angry
it.
fighting men? Lowering your weapon, you stare coldly past them to where Angvar sits. It is not a clash with the hall hounds that will settle this, you say into the waiting silence. Where's the hound's master? Will he step forward to face me? By my father's eye, roars Angvar delightedly. This is a call to battle? Such spirited words are all too rarely heard from mortal lips. He rises and, flinging off his cloak, advances to you. The warriors part, awestruck by the Lord's answer to your challenge. What the heck? I just saw his stats. Alright, so he is immune to the enthrallment into lightning magic, including sheet lightning and nemesis bolt. Victory is impossible if you flee, turn to 195. If you surrender to Angvar, turn to 2. If you're killed, but there are other players with you, they should turn to 46. And here's why victory is impossible. Angvar has a fighting prowess of 11, inflicts 7 dice 6 damage each blow, has 9 of psychic ability, an awareness of 6, an armor rating of 0, and an endurance of 950.
What the fuck?
Oh man, that sounds like an easy fight.
What happened to the arm wrestling thing?
So, do you...
What the?
So, do you surrender to Angvar?
Let's put up a fight.
Or do you fight and get killed?
I surrender. I'm curious what is going to happen.
I wonder if the real trick is like to have you killed, but I don't want you to do that, so let's see what happens.
I wonder if that would be a victory way.
Okay. Here's the thing. If you're down to half your normal endurance score or less, turn to 273. If you still have more than half your normal endurance, turn to 159. Based on that, I think that what you should do would be to fight a little with it,
Yeah,
and once you're down half your endurance, surrender.
yeah.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Alright, I'll just put Angvar's thing because it's just so funny. I just want to actually do that. Let's go.
Ridiculous stats.
I'll just put his stats just for the
I
fun.
mean, how many fighting prowess does he have?
Just 11.
Technically, it could be possible if you would roll 12 on each of your dice roll for something like 200 turns. But, yeah, no.
Alright, let's just change
The
the
hell?
avatar.
Let me drink some giant string potion.
You have
Full
that?
of them. I don't have that, but it could be useful.
Alright, so let's deal with Angvar. I'll just put him on that map because the map is not really
No,
that...
but how the hell did
He's
this
a big
guy...
ass.
No, but really, how the hell did this guy die in a fight? He must have been
Then
strong
again,
with
I think it's
illness.
the representation from this book of the god of thunder, Thor. Because he does mention his father's eye in singular, like Odin's only
Fuck, man.
eye, and he does preside over a hall of fighting men. So, and he does mention a brother which is treacherous and lying, like
What
Loki.
the-
So, Angvar is probably the representation of the god Thor.
Probably, what the fuck?
Alright, so
man?
let's see if you manage to survive his first blow. So,
How many?
fighting
How many?
wise, you're actually fighting first. So, if you want to inflict some damage on him,
Actually, can I survive one of his blow?
7 dice 6, I think you could.
Yeah, you have
Maximum
armor.
damage
You
is
should.
42, so you technically can survive a blow with max damage.
Yeah. Try
I'm
to
going
hit him at least in good faith.
Alright.
Good.
Yeah. Good fate.
Alright,
That's
that's
funny.
a...
That's 7 damage.
Hated him.
Suffer.
Hey, he might roll a 12.
Suffer.
He might roll a 12. You never know.
Alright, so he is inflicted, what, 8 damage?
7.
7? Oh yeah, right, you don't have any spell for that. Alright, so good.
You're almost there.
Alright, so Angvar will now attack. Manages to hit. Let's do the damage. 28, so that makes 22. You're now down. You're less than half of your endurance.
You should surrender now. That was a very good fight.
Good fight.
Yes,
Surrender.
we are proud of you.
Let's see. There you go. Now that we have that, let's see what happens if you're under half your endurance.
Deem you a worthless coward who can take a blow.
373. Ingvar
This book
accepts your
is-
surrender by giving you a hearty clap on the back. The force of it makes your teeth rattle in your skull. You fought well, he says. No warrior here could have stood his ground better. Now fetch yourself a mead horn and tell me where you have come.
Good.
To 495. The meet at Angvar, blah blah blah, needs to parse through. If there's a warrior in the party who wrestled or fought with Angvar, turn to 93. Well, let's do that.
I did.
As you are making ready to depart,
Wait.
Angvar puts his arm...
Wait, I heal him.
Oh yeah, right. By the way, I skipped like 2 paragraphs, so you technically have 2 attempts.
That
How-
one was times 3.
How
4,
many did
sorry.
you sacrifice? Okay,
5.
Alright, so times 4. So you get back 15, by the way, warrior.
15.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have another attempt, Sage, by the way. So 4. Let's see if you get... Well, that's 3 times. Meaning you get back 4 and you can give 8 to the warrior, and that's the end of healing.
Then there you go, you're full. Clap, clap.
Thank
So-
you, sir.
So as you're making ready... Oh, by the way, the mead that Angvar gave us was also healing, so yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you make ready to depart, Angvar puts his arm around your shoulders and steers you over to a darkened corner of the hall. Lifting a hide, he shows you a jeweled treasure chest, which he unlocks and opens. The glitter of the gold and silver shines up onto your eyes. Angvar reaches into the chest and takes out a silver armband for each player. It is not often I take a shine to mortals, he says, but your bravery has impressed me here. Here, a gift from the Lord of Bilskirnir. You take the armbands. Each player examines his or her and finds it covered with runes. If there are sages here, he or she should turn to 499. Let's do that.
Armband.
Silver runed armband.
The
Good.
most prominent of the engravings is the Old Norse rune Hagalaz, representing the power of thunder and lightning. To judge by the other runes, which include the defensive glyph Algiz, what you have here is an item that gives its wearer protection from lightning. Geez, I wonder where it will be useful.
I do
402.
not.
Record the armbands on your character sheet. If a player chooses to put his or her armband on either now or later, then turn to 211 to discover its effects. Anyone wants to try it out?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
try it out.
It's already on.
Okay. We'll just note it down on my character sheet. Just place a sword for it. Silver arm band 211. There we go.
Oh, whoa.
All right. Let's see the paragraph for people that have tried it. Before you're rating on, make sure you know the number of the last entry you were reading. The armbands gives partial protection against lightning. While you wear it, you take only half damage from electrical attacks, rounding fractions up, including the sheet, lightning, and nemesis bolt spells. For example, if a nemesis bolt struck you and you would normally inflict 21 points of damage, the armband would mean that you only took 11 points, now return to the previous entry. So basically, everyone puts it on. It's nice. And now we get ready to leave. Okay, and then if we have Scribo the Raven, go to 34.
So does he still stay
And
there?
Scribo leaves.
No. Sure. Alright. So
And
like that guy has a chest, you know. So every time there's a warrior that dares scuffle, says like, "Here, let me give you random magical items."
maybe the only way to not lose Scribo is to not go into Angvar's meet hall and
Probably.
fight the guardian of the gate. Maybe, I don't know. 344.
Nah.
But then we won't get the armband.
And then we still don't have the code word Jalar for some reason. Which might be if we fight the actual feasting dead instead of tricking them not to appear.
Probably. We'll see.
Other options that we might explore if we ever die.
At that point, we're gonna explore options.
Then again, we cannot go back there, so yet, because we're still alive. Alright, now we go to the River Lethe. Go to 56. We meet the woman in gray that tells us about the water, the forgetfulness. Do we still collect the water?
We're gonna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're gonna drink it before we go to the other place.
Can
Alright. Lethean
Can
water,
any of you
paragraph
guys
312, by the way.
take it? Because I don't have any space left.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
I mean,
no
I
problem.
could get rid of the ration, but
I'll just get rid of one of my useless swords.
or I could get rid of the navigation charts. I mean,
Yeah.
did we ever use those?
I still have like 2 empty spots. I just decide to remove my swords. So Lethean water.
We still need to find the coin in order to traverse.
Then again, the trickster can actually do something about that.
The trickster can do something
When we meet Charon,
about...
there's an option of if the trickster is among you and tries to do something.
Yeah, but I'm highly skeptical. I mean, Chiron is not the kind of spirit that can be tricked.
We don't know. Alright, so let's see.
Try it, Trister.
Hey, this is a bronze coin. It's obviously a gold coin. No, it's a bronze coin. Underneath all of it, there's bronze.
So
you
we
see?
leave the bridge. We go to the Iron Wood. We cross the Iron Wood. There's big darkness and there's scary noises, but we pass through.
And then we find
And
Gnar.
now we are at the gate for Garm, which we basically bribe into letting us pass because we have honey cake.
The cake is not a lie this time. It saves everyone.
Alright, and then we continue after the gates. So, there's a lot to do, and after the gate, we are at the plane of no return, so...
Let's forget everything.
So, one of you wants to try out the water?
Yep.
Let's start drinking.
Alright, so here's what the water does. Paragraph 312.
What does it do again? We all forgot.
Before reading on, make sure you know the number of the last entry you are reading. The waters of the river Lethe induce amnesia. As soon as you drink, much of your memory slips away as the water trickles between your fingers. You can remember your quests, though you are hazy about some of the details, and you can remember the names of those you travel with. But a good deal of your combat expertise is lost, your endurance is unaltered, but your fighting prowess, awareness, and psychic ability becomes those of a second-rank character.
Wow!
And
Woo!
you write the code word lighten on your character sheet.
Yay!
And
Lighten. For those of you that want to know the stats they have at character 2, the warrior has a fighting prowess of 8, so 9 because of the genie's blessing, damage of 1 die 6 plus 1, psychic ability of 6, so 7, and awareness of 6, so 7. This will be temporary, so it's only for information purposes. The
So,
trickster will have fighting prowess of 7, so 8. Psychic ability damage of 1 die 6. Psychic ability of 6, so 7. Awareness of 8, so 9. And the sage would have fighting prowess of 7, so 8. Damage of 1 die 6. Psychic ability of 7, so 8. Awareness of 6, so 7. And finally, the enchanter would have fighting prowess of 6, so 7. Damage of 1 die 6 minus 1.
So my
Psychic ability of 8. And awareness of 6.
so my fighting prowess still stays at 8 because of the blessing.
It never went down. You have a fighting prowess up until the 8th rank. At 8th rank, it raises from 1, but you still have the same fighting prowess as you had in level 2, yes.
Oh, okay. So at that point, it's just my psychic ability went down by 1.
And your awareness.
By 1 too?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So there you go. I put them in comma because it's temporary. Done. And did my damage for the staff also went down at 1 die 6 too?
Yep.
Okay. Did I have a plus at that point?
Nope.
Okay. There you go. It is modified for my temporary staff.
I don't think we'll have a fight before we gain back the wear memory.
Oh, but in case it's done.
451. 69.
I'll play it fair.
Sorry, I'm just getting back to the paragraph we were at. Alright, we were walking into hell. If we have wonder, go to 425. So she fell. Alright. So now that we have the code words on the character sheet, as we are traversing the plane, let's go to 342. At last you hear sounds from ahead, the cry of solitary night bird, the babble of running water, the soft streak of branches stirring in the wind. If you have Scribble the Raven with you and at least one player has the code word lighten, turn to 520, otherwise go to 83.
I do not have a Scribo, but now I have Lighten.
Yep, but we need to have both. So at this point,
Oh, well.
so we have reached the end of the plane. Now we are thrilling that's Artland, and we come across the river Styx, and we meet with Charon. So I recommend that we drink from the pool of remembrance in order to continue the adventure, since our memories will no longer trouble us.
Yeah.
Sounds
What is
good.
the paragraph? Boyer?
Sorry. It's 490.
496?
496.
Do we still need to do the super party wipe?
No, we actually skipped that.
Even if we don't have Scribo?
Even if we don't have Scribo, it's just that Scribo probably would have helped you gain back your get back your memory or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what Scribo does, to be quite frank. I would have liked to see that, but apparently we don't have the prerequisites. Maybe we should have just skipped the mead hall and fought Garn, but then again, it's another try if we ever die from this. Alright, make sure first that you know the number of lesson 3. If you have the code word lighten, then the water of remembrance cancels the water of forgetfulness. You can restore your fighting prowess, awareness, and psychic ability scores to normal, lose the code word lighten, and return to the previous entry. So basically, we no longer have the code word lighten, but we get back our... So we basically get back to
Maybe
our...
we should have kept it
improved stats.
for a while or something. I don't know.
Well, we traversed the plane of no return. We are now in front of the river Styx. So we are right here. So we basically passed the whole ordeal because we did not remember the ordeals of our life.
Mm-hmm.
And did it inflict us any damage?
None whatsoever.
Okay, good. Done.
Alright, so let's go with meeting Karen. And here's where it will probably be different. 489. Okay, so he asks, you are from the mortal world. Do you wish to cross the river? Yes or no?
Yes.
The other ones?
Of course.
Trickster will try something. Yes.
Alright,
Yeah.
let's try it out. After a moment of silence, Karen replies the fee is 1 obol per passenger. So, if you don't have any obols but the trickster is here, he or she should turn to 244. The obols, I don't know where we would get them, but maybe after saving the villagers, maybe that would be something. I don't know.
Or maybe we cannot get them.
Alright, so the trickster is here. We could try something at 244. Are you willing, trickster?
Let's go.
Let's go. You leap from the riverbank to land in Karen's boat. It rocks wildly as you catch hold of the ferryman's in feigned alarm. Your nimble fingers reach around his belt pouch and extract a few coins. Karen does not notice the theft. He glares at you, and when he speaks, his voice is sharp with outrage. What impudence! I had not even invited you to get into the boat! Get back on the bank! You bow, apparently, chastised, and climb out of the boat. A glance at the coins in your hand tells you that they are indeed obols. It was a safe bet, after all, that if Karen regularly charged the ferry fee, he would have a few such coins on his person. Turning back to him, you say, apologies, honored boatman. Will you convey us across the river? Here is the fee you demand. So you basically stole the pieces on the ferryman before giving it to him back.
Good
Sounds
job,
about
man.
right.
Yeah.
69.
Damn. Well played.
Karen's white hands darts from the folds of his cloak and snatches the coins from you. There's no need to pay for the traveler, as he has an obol for himself, and also one for Cordelia if she is accompanying you. You get down into the boat. Do not touch the water, says the traveler. It will turn your flesh lifeless and white like our ferryman's. Karen chuckles at this and points to the far bank. The boat swings around and begins to drift across, propelled by no more than the ferryman's whim. Thetis' son was baited in the Styx, he murmurs. He suffered no ill effects. Quite the reverse. The traveler glares at him. Devilish boatman, he cries. Do you think we're so easily tricked? This is called the rivers of hate, after all, and it takes only a pinch of common sense to see that such description would not have been applied if it had beneficial properties. So, do you dip a hand into the water?
Fuck no.
Or do you take the traveler's advice? Basically, it's an individual decision. Everyone that decides to do so can do so. At their
I
risk.
don't. I don't.
Nobody does?
The thing with this, I think it's a test of maybe endurance or something. It's
I do not know.
If you want to try your luck, my dear warrior, go ahead. I will not.
You know what the River of Styx does. You do, right?
I
What
actually
happened
do
to
not remember.
Achille? Achille was baited by his mother in the River of Styx.
If
Except
I
she
remember, it
dangles
was
him.
baited in a decoction that she made. Let's just check that with Achilles. Let's just see. Achilles in Greek mythology. Birth and early years. Achilles was the son of the Nereid Thetis and Peleus, the king of the Myrmidons. Oh, actually the son of Thetis. So basically there was a reference to Achilles here. Been rivals for prophecy that Thetis would bear a son greater than his father. For this reason, the two gods withdrew the pursuit and had their weed Peleus. According to Achillid, when Achilles was born, Thetis tried to make him immortal by dipping him in the river Styx. However, he was left vulnerable at the part of the body by which he held him, his left heel. So yeah, that is correct. I was mistaken, and you were correct, Francis. It is by bathing in the river Styx that Achilles became nigh immortal. Nearly immortal.
So maybe it's a test of strength or endurance, and you need to survive it.
Do you want to attempt it?
I no idea. Can we turn back if we don't?
Depends if there's a TPK.
Yeah.
I don't think trying it's a good idea.
What the warrior is have the liberty of his choice if he thinks he should. Be my guest.
Like I said, it is an
You might
individual
turn
choice.
out like
if,
a
no, if
keel.
you all say no, then we just go ahead. If somebody wants
Yeah,
to try,
let's
you
go
can say.
ahead.
Let's go ahead. All right.
But is this all the group or it's the individual?
It's individual. Decide who's doing this and turn to 335, basically.
So you can do it individually if you wish to. It's okay.
Nah,
So do we
I know
all...
it could probably protect us from a.
So do you want to know what it would do if we ever did decide, now that the decision has been made?
Yeah. I'm
Alright.
curious to know what it would do, but
Alright, so basically it is a roll of the die. If you put your hand on the sticks, what would have done, we would roll a die. On the result of 1 or 3, the player would die instantly. And a result of 4, 5, or 6, they would become partially invulnerable, meaning each time they take damage, they would roll a die, and on a 6, the damage would be negated.
It's a fucking risk, but it could have turned out great. But you could
You-
also have died.
you roll 1 die 6. Is that correct?
Yeah, 1 tree you would die.
4,
More
5,
than
or
that,
6,
you
you become
become-
partially invulnerable.
Yeah, so you have half chance to die.
But then again, everyone decided to not put their hands on, so let's just continue.
Yeah.
63.
It's still the good decision because half a chance is still half a chance.
You reach the far bank and get out of the boat. When you turn to thank Charon, he has already gone. There are not even any ripples in the backwater to show that he and his boat were ever there.
Yeah,
Okay, there's a
Good
chat thing.
decision. No, I just
Yeah, you would
tested
have
if I
died.
would have survived. I would have died.
Yep. Sheol becomes even more chimeric in his hinterlands, remarks the traveler. Where now? Shall we go to the hillock where you thought you saw signs of life? Or to the high tower where the green lamp shines? Or shall we now head for rendezvous with death without further delay? So, do we go to the hill? Do we go to the tower? Or do we just go up the river?
I think it's time to go to the tower.
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 Alright, which is another deviation from what I did in my previous, because I went to the hill. So,
Tower seems so inviting.
alright, let's go to the tower. 475.
We went to the hill.
Yeah, I went to the hill. So you approach the tower with a sense of foreboding, certain that a hideous danger must await you there. The traveler stops you before you can push open the door. The green light trickles down from the upper window, giving his face an unearthly look. Do you not feel that sensation, like the grip of icy fingers around your heart? He breathes. This tower is the home of something unspeakable. Let us go at once. If you agree with him, you can either return to the sticks and follow its course towards the mountain, or investigate the hillock nearby if you do not have the code word rabbit. If you're adamant about entering the tower, we can go to 323.
Tower.
So, tower? What
Tower.
says you, Trickster and Warrior?
Do we
Do
have
not-
any
Do not tower in fear.
Let's push on.
Alright, let's push on.
I know it was a bad pun.
My
Alright.
feeling is that we need to trust the traveler, but yeah.
Alright, so, If there's a sage here who wants to levitate to the top of the tower, he or she should turn to 215. An
Yes.
enchanter could also like to cast prediction by going on 366. So which option should we take?
Screw your prediction. I'm going on top.
So the sage wants to levitate. What
You
do you
can
think is the best
convince
option,
the
warrior?
enchanter to do it if you want.
By the
I
way, there's
think-
also the option of just opening the door and going in.
Try to predict what happened. I mean, your prediction.
So Trickster,
I've been
you're the
good so
tiebreaker. Between a prediction or levitation, which one would you think would be the best?
I think a prediction would be best at this point.
Sorry, Sage.
Wise choice.
366.
The sage is crazy.
Sometimes.
With your concentration focused on
Most
the
of the
possible
time.
future in which you will enter the tower, you cast a prediction spell. The clarity is remarkable. You see a vivid image of yourself passing through the tower door and slowly advancing across the stairwell. After one glance into a room where you see a number of piles of grey ash, you begin to ascend the stair. If you break the spell now, return to 323 and choose again. If you try and maintain the spell long enough to see what lies at the top of the stair, turn to 101. I think I should continue.
Yeah, keep continuing.
Let's hope that I cannot be killed by a prediction. Would be sad. In your vision, a figure appears at the top of the stair and steps forward, reaching in hand toward your future self. Light falls across its face. Its face! You have looked straight into the face of Steno, mightiest of the Gorgons. Under normal circumstances, her gaze is instant death, but you might be saved by a paradox. If you see her in your vision of the future, the sight should have killed you at once. But if you die now, you could never have entered the tower, and hence, the prediction could not have revealed Steno's face. Your acceptance of paradox is proportional to your psychic ability. Roll 3 dice. If you score higher than your psychic ability, then you reject the paradox as impossible, and turn to 55. If you score equal to or less than your psychic ability, you're able to reconcile the contradictions involved. Turn to 435. Gosh, I can be killed by a prediction, apparently.
Good luck.
So let's roll these dice. And that's a 10. One more than my thing. I cannot reconcile with the paradox. Yay. Let's
So
go to
you
55 and see what happens.
Damn.
Drink the potion! Quick! Drink the potion of forgiveness!
You break out
We
of
have
the
no
chronostasis
more.
with a scream of unendurable pain. The trauma leaves you spiritually maimed. Reduce your psychic ability by 2. This effect is permanent. Nothing
Ow.
in
Ouch.
all creation would induce you to enter the tower now. You stumble back, numbed and shaking, towards the sticks. Go to 515. So,
Hey, you're not dead.
yeah, I know, I'm not in 515.
Oh,
I'm
hey,
still a little bit
hey,
grumpy
you-
about the down of stats, but
You got the
I
mask.
should not complain. I should not complain.
You got the mask. You just lost 2 psychic ability powers and lost a spell. Everything's peachy, right?
Yeah, Peachy. I now have less psychic ability than the friggin' sage. I think that with a spell in mind, I have less psychic ability than the warrior.
Damn, man. That's brutal.
I will be
You-
useless in the spell. And figure what? If we manage to get through this adventure, that will be permanent. Ain't that fine?
Don't worry, we will die
Yeah,
in a
that
couple
sounds
of
fine.
paragraphs.
Alright, so the ground along the riverbank is carpeted with grass and moss, giving you an easy path, blah blah blah. Now that I'm saying blah 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 because basically we are back in the path we had previously, where we discuss about the many faces of death with the traveler. So 319. Then
And the lesson of the story,
Cordelia
listen to the
is-
traveler when he says something bad is living in the tower.
I probably would have died at the top of it.
maybe, probably, perhaps, mayhaps.
Gorgon turned into stone.
Alright, now we reach the unicorn. So we reach the black unicorn in the forest. So we're basically in the forest of Night's Abyss. And we reach a black unicorn that just stares at us if we call him. Do we take its reins, or do we just continue along?
Well, let's try to get the black unicorn.
So you want to try and take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's another path. Let's explore all we can.
If we ever die, I don't want to look into the future anymore. Alright. So, who wants to approach the unicorn? Who thinks they have a chance?
I will.
Okay. In a multiplayer party, it's assumed that the first player is approaching the unicorn unless someone else was specified. If this player is wearing a crucifix, turn to 243. If not, he or she to turn to 395. Do you have a crucifix?
395.
Okay.
I have a crucifix.
But you're not the one trying to get a hold of the unicorn. As soon as you step between the trees, you are seized by a score of deathly white hands. You have a brief glimpse of glittering green eyes, thin lips spotted and smiles of purest malice, a murmur of devilish laughter from all around you. Then you're lifted clear of the ground and borne off through the branches by an eldritch blast of wind. If there are any other players with you, they can turn to 269. If not, that is the end of your adventure. So let's go to 269. You are rooted to the spot with sheer horror as you see your comrades seized and carried away by a host of night elves. They move with uncanny speed, and by the time you can think of doing anything, the only trace of them is a fading silver mist on the air. I warned you about staying on the path, says the traveler. Your companion is now among the elves and will never be seen by mortal eyes again except in dreams. The unicorn also has vanished. Apparently it was just a phantasm created by the elves as a lure. Shaking your head, sadly at your friend's fate, you turn over and walk away from the riverbank. Go to 530.
Well, damn.
The sage is gone. I am crippled.
Hey.
And let's continue.
It sounds like a good walk through hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, here's the thing. If we
No
don't
more
want to
healing.
continue forward and fight the lightning demon or things like that, we could all commit mass suicide and just decide on getting back to somewhere else. Or we could continue.
I mean, in all fairness, when one person dies, we do continue.
Okay, let's continue. That's no problem.
It has happened multiple times to a few of us.
I'll try to make your life hells as best as I can.
Let's continue, and
That's
if
that's
we
the
reach
deal.
almost the end of the book, we can just pass suicide and
No.
And at least we know
do it
the
fair.
path.
Let's do it fair. We're crippled and missing a player, but it hasn't stopped
And
us
if you
in previous
win, I'll
books.
lose. And if you win, I'll lose my buffs. It's okay. I'll just be weaker and be able to heal you less, so you'll have more of a challenge.
Yeah. Eventually, you leave the dark forest behind. You're now walking across windswept open country. We talk about the moon. It's the same moon. It says that changed. And now we now look upon the face of Li Kung, the Minister of Lightnings, your errant mortals. I am the Spitter of Flames, the Seer of Souls, the Thunder-voiced Lord. Do we stand our ground and fight, or do we look for an item to use? Do we have
Stand our ground and fight!
There we go.
You'll have a lot more. You'll probably should do it quite easy since you're 3. But I'll try to injure you as much as I can.
All
You
right.
also have no more resource to heal yourself, so all the salves are gone.
Alright, let's yeah, right, you were swept away and all of your stuff gone with you.
Uh-huh.
That is correct. So Li Kun remains
Good luck.
airborne and lashes down at you with Tongue of Lightning. So basically half damage for us. His attack is directed at the first player in the battle order. However, if any player is carrying a copper rod, then the lightning is attracted to him or her instead. The touch of the Tongue of Lightning inflicts 4d6 damage with armor protecting as usual. So let's fight it out. 171. Alright, so I will prepare the stats and actually give control to that NPC to Pierre as he goes on. So we cannot
Time
reach
to
late
kill
range
you
engage him in
all.
close combat, so no close combat for us, but we can still rely on spell, arrows, and other long range attacks, so including the axe. There we go, and he has a Tongue of Lightning. Alright, so Li Kung's stats. So again, fighting prowess of 9, 4 dice 6 damage per blow divided by 2 because of our armbands. Psychic ability of 9, awareness of 8, and armor rating of 0, endurance of 35. Li Kung, seen by everyone, but Pierre-Yves shall have control over him. I remove this picture, replace it with a picture of the letter L. 9, 4 dice 6.
Shouldn't we have a battle map though for that?
No need technically because there's no battle map at all.
But how do I? Oh, okay. So I just target anyone I want. Okay.
Yeah, but pretty much. But you're supposed to attack the player in the first rank order first. But then again, you decided the tactics of monsters according to the rules now.
Yeah.
Just a moment. I'm just setting up his stats, making sure everyone can see them, and etc. etc. Boop. Li Kung is here. By the way, Pierre, if you want to set up yourself as Li Kung, you can actually change your avatar now in the chat for Li Kung's avatar. That way,
sure.
when you roll dice, it will be as
Yeah.
Li Kung.
Yeah, let's have fun.
Everyone's able to see the bar, or did I not set that up properly? I did not set that up properly. Save changes. Now you're supposed to be able to see it. All right. Li Kung has a initiative order of. Let's just remove the sages initiative here. But he
It
has
was
an initiative of 8.
it
So
was
he
4
does back
dice
at the
6
same
of
time as
damage.
the warrior and enchanter.
It was 4 dice 6 of damage.
4 dice 6, but we will divide by 2, rounding up for each time you do inflict damage. So the trickster acts
Well,
first. You can only affect him with your arrows,
Wonderful.
except if you have any other kind of long-range weaponry.
I do not. So time to shoot some arrows.
Can pelt him with my axe, I guess.
Yes, you can.
Look at that damage.
It's a wonderful
Oh.
damage. So 2 damage on Li Kung since he has no armor whatsoever. Pierre,
Yeah.
you control the player.
There we go.
Remove to
Oh,
remove
yeah,
to,
sorry.
and don't roll the damage before you try to hit.
No,
us. You
I'll
still need to
re-roll. I'll re-roll it. I'll be fair. So, who do I target?
Alright, so at this point, on Iceland, we act the same time as Li Kung, so I shall attempt to do a sword thrust. So, first attempt, need 4 or less. Nope, 5 or less. Nope. Alright, I did 2 attempts. Warrior, you can do your stuff if you want.
I refuse to hit him. And just kidding.
Probably not the time to do that.
Well, throw your axe. Do your worst.
Throw my axe.
Alright, you do manage to inflict damage. 1 die 6 plus 1.
Oh, I was hit by 2 before, so there you go.
So 4 more damage on Li Kung.
Alright.
Alright, Li Kung, who do you decide to strike down with your lightning?
Well, let's give a little nudge of lightning on the trickster.
Meaning you must have 8 or less on 2 dice, because the trickster is especially nimble.
Yay.
And you miss. Alright, so that's back to the trickster.
Shoot some more arrows.
Yay! And you hit again. Inflicting
Okay.
1 damage! Warrior,
One damage is 1 damage.
that's a hit.
Die.
For 2 damage more.
Damage
I shall
more.
attempt my spells once again. So now I need 6 or less. Now I need 7 or less. Still no dice. Decoing's turn.
Well, then, I'm gonna try to hit the enchanter.
Okay.
Whoa,
And you
I
miss.
miss.
I am very happy with that outcome. Trickster, back to you.
Shoot some arrows.
And you still hit 4 damage more. Warrior.
This.
Axe hit. For 7 damage. That's a huge one. Alright. Now I
Axe to the
need
face.
8
You've
or
been
less.
axed.
9 or less. Seriously teasing me right now. Lee Kung, your turn. Who do you
I'm
take?
gonna whack the warrior because that did hurt like a lot. I'm angry and I'm saying roar the warrior lightning. Oh, sorry, I need to roll my hit first. Sorry for that.
Well,
There we go. I
you got a
hit.
Alright, so 13, which means you are hit with 7 damage minus your armor.
Yeah, but shouldn't I re-roll since I did it before?
7 damage.
Actually, technically, since you have the armband, you only take 7 damage minus armor. Now
Yeah.
you take nothing because he insisted on re-rolling. So no
Oh,
damage
but
whatsoever.
But it's fine if you wish me to. Anyway, that's fine.
No damage. No.
Trickster, your turn.
Take every chance we get.
Time to fire the last arrow.
Ooh,
It's your last
hits.
one?
1 more
Damn.
damage. He did not stock up on 3 quivers like you.
What? I want what?
Alright, warrior.
He may hit you with my axe.
And you hit him with your
Like,
axe. 4 more damage. Alright,
More
do I
damage.
manage to...
Oh, you should. I'm almost dead.
Now I need a... So, I said 7, 8, and 9, so I need a 10. Finally. Seriously.
What? I would have been very surprised if you wouldn't have the get it.
Alright, now you get an extra 12 damage. But, since you are in the same initiative tracker than us, you technically allow the last action.
I'll try to end the final blow on you because you struck me with a deadly one.
Alright, do you hit?
I hit.
Yes, you do. How many damage?
19.
So we divide it by 2, which makes it 10, minus my armor of 5. That makes 5 damage.
Watch. See, it's just a scratch.
Alright, and he dies. Twing. There you go. Okay. So let's see. What comes next? Now that we've killed him. 459. The giant head drops into the sticks and is carried away by the strong current. Why on earth did it attack us, you wonder about? It was completely random, senseless, just destruction without reason. Of course, says the traveler. Li Kung embodied the nature of lightning, and lightning itself is senseless. Turn to 4. Before reading on, okay, we're at the near the end of the book. Now let's see what you listened and thought about. Before reading on, is there any one thing that has been bothering you about the land of Sheol and the people and creatures you've encountered here? Think about this. You can consult with your fellow players if you're not adventuring solo. And we can write down the one thing that seems most significant and or suspicious. So,
They all know what we want to do.
So, anything that you find, the thing that you find the most suspicious in the land of Sheol. We can discuss about this. I technically know the answer, so I will not be participating.
It's because they all know what we want to do.
Who
I'm
knows
dead.
what you-
I cannot help.
So, who knows what you want to do?
All of the people know what we want to do.
Who said that in the land of Sheol? Which NPCs, which character did mention what you were looking for?
the traveler that we were with.
Okay, who else?
Oh, that's my input.
Okay, so the highly suspicious is that the traveler knew what we were looking for?
Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. You can try. Well, at this point, I'm not saying it's the wrong answer. At this point, warrior, since you're still alive, is there anything you can take from Andre's deduction? Do you want to elaborate, or do you think that his thing is pretty much spot on?
I'm sorry, but could you repeat what's...
The question here, the discussion that we're having here, what seems to be the most suspicious thing that has happened to you since you entered the land of Sheol?
Well, the traveler.
Okay, what seems suspicious about him?
I don't know, he seems to know the place very much, and he kinda came out of nowhere, decided to follow us, and...
And
Oh, the traveler's icon.
what makes
Probably.
you say that?
Because when we tried to summon him, he didn't get summoned.
And any spirit that is in the land of the dead would have no choice but to go into the temple.
Yeah,
So your assessment would be that Icon the Ungodly is the traveler?
Yes.
yeah,
And that is
same
correct.
here.
That is actually correct. When I did go in that book, I said, well, there's two things suspicious when I was first traveled here. First of all, when I tried to summon Icon, he was not arriving, and then the traveler seems highly suspicious. Wait a minute. That was basically my train of thought. But yes, you are correct. And let's see how correct you are. Okay, let's go to 561.
Sorry, I was startled by a noise outside my house.
So the mountains rise abruptly in front of you, a sheer wall of rock along the edge of the moors. Dim gray light flares up periodically against the darkness of the sky, and distant rumbling suggests that a storm of unimaginable force is raging on the other side of the mountains. The Styx cascades in a black waterfall from a cavern mouth several hundred meters up the cliff face. You catch sight of one or two pale, struggling figures being washed down and dashed into the rocks. As you clamber up a narrow path leading to the cavern entrance, a louder noise becomes audible over the waterfall's roar and the rumble of the distant storm. Cordelia, trailing hesitantly behind as she has been all along, presses her hand to her ears and gives a soft gasp. It is the first sound she has uttered in your presence. She recognized the terrible noise from ahead a moment before you do. It is the howling of thousands of souls in torment. Go to 517.
Sweet. I may be one of them if I got killed soon enough.
You reach the mouth of the cavern. A high, wedge-shaped tunnel recedes into the far darkness ahead of you. The river flows along the center of this tunnel, and on either bank stands vicious-faced gray demons that seem to have sprouted out of the very rock. They have no legs, but only a single stem of stalk where their legs should be. Their tongues are like whips that can lash out more than a dozen meters, and they use them to herd pallid souls into the fast-flowing water. One of the unfortunates sees you and breaks from the throng. A demon turns to watch as he runs towards you, arm flailing in terror. "Help me!" he cries. "Help!" The demon's tongue whips around his throat, and is dragged slowly back along the ground. His grey face contorts into a cruel grin as it casts him back along the other. "We must put a stop to this horror," you gasp. "Cast all such thoughts from your mind," warns the traveler. "This is a treatment that those souls have earned by their actions in their last life. The river will carry them back to the mortal world to be reincarnated. It is their karma, as we say in my country." Do we attack one of the demons, or do we pass by the scene of the torment? So, do we say, oh, those souls deserve it, they will reincarnate anyway? Or do we attack the demons? The question is for the warrior and trickster. Are you here? You hear me, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay, good.
Me, I'm just playing my role. I'm dead.
And you're doing very well until the moment you speak.
Good. Damn. Sorry.
Because you're technically not dead. You have been
So
spirited away by elves.
demons
Sorry?
demons or lightning storm, is that right? Or
It's
something?
basically demons that are dragging souls to be reincarnated as punishment for their misdeeds. And they take certain pleasure of doing so. They have whips. Whips as tongues, and well, there are other descriptions for them, but just to say they look wicked. But the traveler says to you that, well, the souls are being dragged to be reincarnated because of the misdeed in life, and it is karma. So, what is being done? Do we just let them do it? Or do we attack them?
I mean, every time we try to do something and help people, it turns bad most of the time, I guess.
Well, not most of the time. But then we are near the end of our journey.
But do you think, Trista, shall we try and fight demons, or?
I think we may need to save our endurance for the final fight and ignore this one.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so let's pass by the scene of the torment and go to 491. The cave extends back for miles, widening at some points into vast bulbous chamber where the stone has formed baroque decorations. Moisture trickles down the walls, causing an endless whispering as it flows to the river. At last, you reach the back of the cavern. Water covers the rock like a living skin. The traveler points to a narrow fissure from where it seems to be pouring. You scale the wall to investigate. The fissure is low. You have to crouch to proceed. Then you have to go on all fours. Finally, you can only crawl on your belly like a snake. Green-white phosphorescence streams from somewhere ahead, creating an ethereal hissing in the air. You feel as though you are pushing through invisible webs. Blood thunders in your veins. Like returning to the womb, isn't it? Whispers the traveler. Turn to 527. Just when you are beginning to think you will become trapped in the narrowing tunnel, it widens out and you emerge into open air. You're standing on a hard stone plain that sparkles under a net of hoarfrost. Icy cold wind whips at your robes and hair. The sky above is cloudless and black and filled with a million stars. And before you, in the center of the vast plain, stands Azrael himself. Azrael being the angel of death, by the way, 262. Azrael is a naked giant as large as a mountain. His skin is jet black, and wrapped across his face is a white blindfold. A colossal sword is planted on the ground in front of him, with his mighty hand resting on his ivory pommel. He is indeed the angel of death. His face is beautiful beyond mortal comprehension, and he has wings which touch the edges of the sky. The plumage of these wings has a pattern like a peacock's tail, with countless eyes, except that many of the eyes in the pattern appear to be closed. You know from folklore that each represent a man or woman in the mortal world, closing when that individual dies. When all the eyes are closed, it will be the day of judgment, and that day cannot be far off. Many more are closed than are open. The dead far outnumber the living. If you have the code word wonder, go to 150. So again, 150. Cordelia speaks for the first time, looking about her as though waking from a dream. She says, "What is this place? What has happened to me?" She shivers in the wind. "Have no fear," the traveler says to her. "I will take you back to the mortal world when your memories will soon return." What does he mean, he will take her back? Go to 169. Earlier, you may have written down something you were suspicious about. If it concerned a traveler, go to 325. Yes, it was. If you merely suspected that he was up to no good, turn to 186, which nearly was the case. If you also realize it is not who it seems, turn to 534. If you wrote down that it is actually your archfoe, Icon the Ungodly, go to 468. So basically, how specific we were in our suspicions would have determined how prepared we were to fight him. The traveler turns to you with a sneer. Yes, it is I who shall keep your pact with Entasius while you remain here and rot in Death's domain forever. Have you not guessed who I truly am? Who it is that has guided you through Sheol's peril in order to savor this final scene of vengeance? Icon, you talk a good fight as usual. So you had guessed. He whirls around his cloak and hat. It is difficult to see now why you did not recognize him as soon as you met. Some sort of illusion magic, no doubt. And do you recognize this? He produces a sword that he had worn slung across his back, under the cloak. Its jeweled hilt and scabbard make the blood sword unmistakable. Icon tosses it to the ground behind him. No good for fighting, badly balanced, he said dismissively. He twists the end of his staff and there's a click as he withdraws a straight, slender blade that was concealed there. I much prefer the Kiriha form. Let me show you how effective it can be in my hands of a master. Turn to 121 for probably the fight against Icon the Ungodly.
I take the blood sword in my hand.
Well, technically it's tossed away, so let's see how it works. Icon seems almost crazed with exhilaration as he closes to attack you. Could there be a more fitting place to settle our blood feud, he cries. Here, under the gaze of death himself, I will finally revenge myself upon you. The monstrous ego of the man. Azrael is an instrument of the Lord God to whom you are no greater than motes of dust, yet Icon thinks of him as some kind of spectacular backdrop for your battle. So, Icon the Ungodly has the same friggin' stats as before, meaning that he has a fighting prowess of 9, damage per blow 5 dice 6, psychic ability of 9, awareness of 9, armor rating of 0, and endurance of 55. I'm not gonna lie with your current stats because mine has taken a dip.
You should you should cut it
He should
pretty
probably
easy.
be a pushover.
Do we?
Well, this will be fun.
He still has his aura of like 1
Yeah,
damage.
just a moment. I'm just setting up his stats if you don't
Damn,
mind.
I'm sick of that aura.
Just 1
Yeah, by
damage.
the way,
Don't
if you
worry.
need a bathroom break right now, that probably would be the best time to do so. How much armor did he have again? 0? Okay. And 55 of endurance.
They're gonna cut him like butter. Don't worry. I'll still try to kill them.
Well, then again, earlier I didn't have access to reasonable chances of casting Nemesis Bolt. Now it's like not a chance. Let's move to the battle map. Alright. Let's remove that. The land is too large to have actual borders. So the warrior is here, the trickster will be here, and the enchanter is here. Icon the Ungodly will be standing just in front of the warrior right here. Let's pump up his endurance right here. Let's see, visible to everyone, and let's save the changes. There we go. Pierre, you should be able. There we go. It's already changed on the chat. Everything is fine. And as far as the turn order is concerned, Icon the Ungodly has 9 of awareness, meaning he is on par with the trickster in terms of initiative. And there we go. Yeah, there's another detail that I should mention. Let's just move that down all the way here, because I need to integrate something else. There's the blood sword, and it's here. So for someone to pick it up, has to go to that area.
And I imagine I cannot pick it up because I find it unbalanced.
Yeah, no, you basically chucked it out. So
Yeah.
it's only for player characters.
Yeah, as
Okay,
any
so Icon,
wise
is it
evil
you?
man, as any wise evil man, when I get a powerful artifact in my hand, I'm just trash.
All right. So here's the thing.
I mean, we need
Oh,
to
gosh,
have chance.
Let's take a bathroom break because I need to write down so many things about Icon, because now he does not only have his like spell of Aura of Fire, he has some other things up his sleeve. So I'll just pause the video and we'll get back once it is done. So oh gosh. All right,
Just
so
waiting
we're back
there.
to the recording. We have finished
So-
statting the character of Icon the Ungodly. He has a few
So I'll-
surprises in the.
How do I access my character sheet?
The character sheet is in, you know, the tabs which are at the top right corner. You know, there's a tab for the chat. There's one that looks like a newspaper page. That's called a journal, and it's in the
Yeah.
journal that you will find your character sheet
Ah, okay, got it,
under the section enemies.
got it.
All right, so Icon the Ungodly and the Trickster shall start.
Does the Bloodsword have any benefits?
You will not know until you pick it up,
Awesome, I'm gonna start moving towards it.
and you must spend a round picking it up. By the way.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, if the sage is here, we could have spent a round trying to exercise Icon's spirit. Then again, I'm not exactly sure if it would have worked. But anyway. So, Icon, what do you do?
Let me see.
Well, I was going to go for the sword because that's the most.
Then again,
useful
you cannot
thing I
move
can get.
unless you choose the defend action in your round, etc.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna
Well-
get trance.
I'm gonna prepare a spell.
All right. So reduce your psychic ability by 1. It's the same way as you reduce your hit points normally.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So at
what-
some point he's going to be unable to cast spells. Is that right?
No, each time he manages to cast a spell, it is released from his mind and his psychic ability reaches back the normal amount. The same way as I do.
Oh, I see.
But I cannot prepare more than one spell at the time, right?
You can. Each time you do prepare a spell, it reduces psychic ability by 1. Thus, the success of casting the spell is reduced as well.
I see. Okay.
Alright, so you have prepared your spell. Warrior, what do you do? Okay, you hit with the ox. And then roll into dice 6. So, alright, so that's, what?
What's happening? I didn't hear the beep for hitting, so yeah. In
so
normal
you hit,
second
and
row.
then you do 8 damage. So, Icon, 8 damage less.
Okay.
On my end, I shall attempt
Um.
the sword thrust spell.
Yeah. Okay.
So I need a 4 or less, 5 or less. Nope.
So it's 47. All right.
There you go. Now it is back to Icon the Ungodly and the Trickster. So the Trickster will move.
I
Next
moved
round,
to
you
the
can
sword.
take a round to pick it up.
Yeah.
So Icon.
Well, I'm gonna try to cast an Indo spell.
Okay. So since it is a complexity 3 spell, if I'm not mistaken, you
Yep.
need 5 or less in a roll of 2 dice 6.
So hope I'm gonna succeed. No.
That is not
Of course
success. All right,
course not.
Warrior, you can attempt to manage him back if you want. Okay, that's a good hit. That's 12 damage.
Well, sorry to be a disappointing fight.
Well, that's just the first rounds.
Yeah,
If you
well,
manage
see
to
my
do
hit point.
If you manage to do the Nimpo thing, that's gonna be great. On my end, I shall attempt
Damn.
to cast my spells once again. So this time, I need a 6 to succeed. I need a 7 to succeed. Oh, I managed. Yay.
Well,
So
then
let's try the spell and 16 damage.
It's gonna be a short fight.
Face.
All right.
And now that I've cast the spell, my psychic ability is put back to 1. Alright, so Icon, you're back with the Trickster. Trickster, we will start with
Pick up
you
the
because I need to
sword.
go in a specific paragraph to tell you what's happening. So 194. Make sure you have the number of the previous entry version. The Sword of Life, known in popular folklore as the Blood Sword, was created by the Archangel Abdiel. It is one of the most potent and holy relics in all the world. On a mundane level, it adds 3 to the wielder's fighting prowess and inflicts an extra 2 dice of damage when it hits in combat. If you strike an undead creature with it, the creature must attempt to resist a psychic attack and is instantly destroyed if it fails. It also has other powers. You will learn more about these as you use it. Now return to the last entry you were before reading. So that's a +3 sword to hit and +2 dice 6 damage. And it can also insta-destroy undead.
Is Icon considered undead?
No.
No.
He's a restless spirit, but he's not undead in the land of the dead. So you do the extra 2 dice 6 damage.
So I do 4 dice 6 at this point.
Exactly.
Which I may not even get to do.
Alright, so you have now the sword, so I will just, I'll just remove the sword there. You have it now. There we go.
Okay, I'll try to, I guess, cast my spell, trying to at least inflict damage.
Well, Nindo does not inflict damage.
No, but at least protect myself to not die instantly, because so far, I'm a poor villain. So, that's right.
And no, that is not a success.
Oh, how surprising.
Yeah, you understand my pain now?
No, I knew I wouldn't even had a chance with Icon. I just knew.
Alright, so Warrior...
And I missed.
miss. Okay. So I shall take my first action to memorize the sword thrust spell once again. And take my second action to attempt to cast it. 4 or less is needed on the dice. That is not a 4. By the way, Icon, since you already attempted this spell twice, now you get some bonus on this. Meaning that the next time you attempt it, you gonna succeed on a 7 or less on the 2 dice. Okay, so by the way, it is your
Well,
turn.
of course not.
Yeah, I've already moved.
Yeah, I saw that. So Warrior, you're back to your usual shenanigans. Axe to the head. Warrior? Oh,
That's
That
it.
a miss?
yeah,
No,
that's a hit. That's a hit.
That's a hit. Don't worry, you'll kill me before I'll be a threat. Don't worry.
That's
Can you
7
stop
damage.
complaining? You're not dead yet.
Well, that's about it. Don't worry.
Alright, so now I need to succeed on the spell on a 5 or less. On a 6 or less. Oh! Managed to do it for the second time.
What were you saying?
I didn't even get to use the blood sword.
18 damage to the face.
Well, there
Give
you
me the
go. I
blood
was
sword.
not complaining. I was just stating facts. That's different. There you go.
Alright, so Icon in Godly, well, you're destroyed. Like I
He
said,
did.
he was going to be a pushover. He has some very nice spell, like the Inner Force,
If you
which
can
is
cast
them extra
them,
damage,
honestly.
or the Fire spell, which does not do a lot, actually, nowadays. The Invisibility would have been a nice one, because if he managed to cast it, we would have to hit him on 3 dice.
That was the only good spell to have a chance of surviving, but as you can
Then
see, I
again,
couldn't
it's
pull
only
it
for
off.
fight rolls, meaning that I could still cast spell at you without remorse.
That's my point, as I didn't stand even a single chance. Don't worry, fine for you.
Alright, so, blah blah blah.
You just have to rush the caster and then cast the damn spell.
I need an action to
52.
prepare it, and then cast it.
Yeah, and this icon is actually more threatening if you play as a solo run, like a solo adventurer in the Land of the Dead, you know, that kind of thing.
I don't know,
Now,
I'm
mean
glad
by
you
that
won.
is
I
that
just would have
by action
wanted
economy
to...
rules, technically we would not be like 4 players on him. It would be 1 character against 1 character. So Icon would have been having a little more leeway. Little more.
So you see, I'm just sad that I couldn't even give you any ounce of challenge. Mostly, I'm glad you won. I'm just sad I couldn't give you a challenge.
So let's move on to the description. Mortally wounded, Icon sinks to his knees on the frost-rimmed rock. As you've seen from your 2 previous encounters with him, his powerful vital force lets him cling to life for a few extra moments, but this time he does not use his vaporization spell to escape. Despite the obvious agony, he opens his mouth to speak. His voice is a rasping whisper. I underestimated you. You have developed real skill since we last clashed. For years you only had only my hatred, but now you have my admiration also. I'm honored to have been your enemy. The feeling, by the way, is not mutual. I hate him for getting us to the underworld just to get our sword. He falls silent, staring at you with an indescribable expression. You wait a few moments, but he says nothing else. When you touch the body, it slumps lifeless to the ground. And amid Azrael's plumage, another of the myriad eyes winks shut. Turn to 28. If you're not yet retrieved the blood sword, then you find it among Icon's belongings. You can find out its power at any time by turning to 194. Blah. Go turn to 493. 493. Azrael tilts his colossal head and speaks at last, and his voice shakes the sky and the very ground underfoot. The Dies Irae is near. As I recon time, it is scarcely a heartbeat hence. To you it's perhaps a year or 2. According to ancient prophecies, the last days will be a time of reversals, when men will caper like animals, and beasts will walk upon their hind legs and hold learned discourse. It is the greatest of reversals for the sword of life to be here in my domain, while the sword of death is abroad in the upper world. Thus I thought for a time that the prophecy had been fulfilled, and that the day of judgment was at hand. He pauses for a moment, and then answers your thought before you can voice it. No, I am not all-knowing. That is for the Lord himself and no other. Similarly, although blindfolded, I am not forbidden from direct involvement in human affairs. I have been close behind you on many occasions, and in some cases exercised my own judgment not to bring you to me sooner. Lord Azrael, you say, the Sword of Life still has important work to do in the mortal world. The true Magi are gathering their power for a return to spite, for which they can extend their malefic influence like the strands of cobweb. This, you brandish the blade, this can stop them. You ask me to return you to the middle world, says Azrael, his word like the tolling of a great iron bell. In truth, a mortal sorcerer has already arranged your passage back. But what of the girl with you? While you are still clothed in living flesh and bone, she is a bare spirit. She belongs amongst the inhabitants of my realm, and the tally must not be altered. She cannot leave here unless another agrees to take her place. If one player agrees to sacrifice himself or herself by remaining in Sheol, turns to 43. If no player is prepared to do that, turn to 53. To be quite frank, guys, not exactly sure if the genie's blessing is worth -2 to psychic ability. So if you don't have a problem, I could sacrifice myself for the girl.
Up to you.
Then again, I would not have 2 times action and things like that, but
And the max is cool, I guess. It's up to you.
But we must sacrifice one person.
in order to save the girl, because the girl is dead by all means. She does not cling to life like we do, because she died so many years ago. So Azrael demands an exchange.
Well, if you want to sacrifice yourself, you can go right ahead.
Whee!
Well, do
By the
you
way,
want me to sacrifice myself?
Sorry?
Do you want me to sacrifice myself?
Well, then again, you have the blessings of the genie, and you're not hindered by any other kind of backlash from bad decision. So at this point, I would feel more that I am a liability except in you.
Okay, go in.
Alright, if you're a team of 2 or more, decide who will remain here in Sheol and then turn to 124, which I will do.
There with if the triggers is
Oh
there,
gosh,
you can trick the.
that's a 3-page description. This
Okay.
was the oath sworn to Entasius in return for his aid, you admit, that Cordelia would be returned to him no matter what the cost. Very well, Lord Death. One of us will take her place amongst your subjects. The player who has volunteered to remain in Sheol steps forward. Israel smiles upon him or her. Well spoken. You're truly worthy successors to the light of Heraclos, Ulixus, and Valandar. If it were my decision to make, I would allow you to return to the mortal world and prosecute your conflict with the Magi. But this is the unalterable law of God, that, though I may pick and choose among the living, taking whom I will and after whatever span of years, even I cannot change the total tally of all the dead. He raises a massive hand from the pommel of his sword. You may all return now to the mortal plane. When you have said your farewells, I shall come to claim the one who is pledged to me. He reaches his towering arm towards the firmament. A nebula of light surrounds his hand. He's opening the gateway to the mortal world. The wind roars across the plain, bringing with a blizzard that bears down upon you. You are surrounded in snow that stings your flesh, and the air is so cold that you cannot draw it into your lungs. Merciful God, you scream as you feel your consciousness fading. Israel's voice booms out of the blizzard. Be silent, do not tremble, and call upon the Lord to aid you. It is not the sensation of death that you now feel and fear. It is the sensation of returning to life. Cold and darkness enfold you. Swept along with unearthly forces, you experience flashes of consciousness like the breaks in delirium. You cannot tell how long has passed when finally you feel hands upon you. You have been washed ashore on a snowy beach, and a tall woman is calling her servants to pull you from the waves. You look up at her. It is Entasius' servitor. When you look up the face of her helpers, you see only darkness. Unconscious again. Then you awaken and you're back in the room of cold stone slabs where your journey to Sheol began. The servitor is here. She steps back from you, having just moistened your lips with the elixir of an alabaster vase. You sit up on the slab. You're clothed in white togas, and the blood sword is still in your hand. Cordelia is on a slab beside you, staring about her with wide eyes. You were naked when we found you washed up on the beach, says the servitor in a soothing voice. All your belongings were lost, except for that sword, which could not be prized from your grasp. So basically, we don't have any equipment except the sword, just to let you know.
No.
Like
All my
nothing
harms.
except the sword. No
My
armband,
harm.
no armor. We only have the genie's blessing because that doesn't remove itself. I think I still have the mask because it cannot be removed, but yeah, I don't know.
Did he remove the curse of intelligence?
No,
No.
because that one is a psychic backlash. It's not a
Darn.
item.
Darn.
You
So-
smile, Riley. It will soon be time for a permanent parting. One of us has agreed to return to Sheol to take Cordelia's place. The quest for this sword has proved very costly indeed. It takes great bravery and honor to sacrifice oneself for the greater good, she says to the player whose soul is pledged to Ezreal. Your name will be spoken of with reverence whenever great heroes gather. She turns to Cordelia. Have no fear, you are once more in the mortal world. Entasius is here. Cordelia speaks in a small voice. Entasius? Aye, my love. The ancient wizard has entered the room behind you. Now we're together again, and not all storms of hell shall ever part us. She looks round and gasps in dismay. No, cannot be Entasius. My love was young and strong, full of life. She shrinks from his withered touch. You are an old man. Ouch. Entasius cries out at the
Slap
revulsion
her,
he
for
sees
fuck's
in her
sake.
eyes. And wilt thou greet me thus that had loved thee so long? Alas, thy cruelty! He gives a terrible groan, suddenly seeming to sense a presence at its shoulder. He turns and stares into the corner of the room. He can see no one there. Oh, that, he moans. For 7 centuries I have forestalled thee, and all that time I loved the phantom. Approach me now, then I welcome the touch of thy wing. A shadow settles over him. For a moment, you fancy you glimpse a dark-robed figure stooping there. Then Entasius gives a gasp and sinks to the stone floor. He is dead. The player who has agreed to give up his or her life in exchange for Cordelia's should now turn to 276. A voice speaks to you, a faint far-off whisper. You are released from your agreement. Entasius has come to my realm in exchange for his lover's life, and the tally is as before. But of course the time will come when we must meet again. You feel a shiver run through you, and then death is gone from the room. So I'll have to check, based on the description of the mask, if I keep the mask or not, but apparently I will not be dead.
Oh,
Or
well,
82.
the other one actually killed himself. Good.
Only the sound of sobbing disturbs the silence. You look down at Cordelia, crouching beside the frail body of the wizard, cradling his head in her arms. But it's too late for regrets. You follow the servitor down the room. Go to 405. Delete all items from your character sheets except for the blood sword. Everything else was lost in the transition between Sheol and this world. Well, it seems pretty straightforward. Seriously, I will need to recheck the description of the mask. However, you have in effect died and have been reborn. This affects you in several ways. Firstly, if you were suffering from any form of illness, poison, madness, curse, or amnesia, then you are now purged of it. Yay! I get back my magic! And technically, I'm purged of any curse, meaning the mask has removed itself.
Yeah.
So I don't have the mask, but I have my stats back, which is great. And it doesn't say blessing, so we keep the genie's blessing for those that are still alive. If any player's fighting prowess, awareness, psychic ability, and endurance were below their normal levels, they are now restored. If you have been robbed of any of your spells or special abilities, for example by a fountain, you recover those abilities now. Oh, thank gosh. I have the teleport spell back.
Nice.
Only those who were destined for heroic stature could survive the peril of Death's Land. You have become much more than ordinary mortals. Oh yeah, right. Now the good stuff. If you're the warrior, you can strike twice each round, one with each hand. Your unarmed combat skills are also such that you no longer need to reduce your fighting prowess and damage rolls when fighting without a weapon. So you can dual wield. If you're the sage, you can now use a multiplier of 1d6 minus 1 instead of 1d6 minus 2 when using your healing talent. Meaning that now, only on a 1 should you lose your healing, and your healing is now more potent.
At least I am a better healer, at least.
If you're the trickster, you find that your agility and coordination are much greater than before. An opponent who is trying to hit you must now make his or her its fight roll on 3 dice. 4 if you're dodging.
Nice.
And if you are the enchanter, you now only use 1 die when making a roll to cast a spell.
Honestly, I think that the one that is very disadvantaged in terms
the
of
sage.
game mechanic, yeah.
The sage
I mean,
actually got a cop
yeah.
out. You don't get
Yep.
any nice combat abilities or anything like that. You get better healing.
Well, that's bad. That isn't bad, but at that point, will I ever need to heal you again with such boost, honestly?
Oh, by the way, has anyone removed every single one of its equipment?
Yeah.
Yep.
I will
I
do so
ju-
as well. I just need to set this up. And I will remove the mask as well, since it is a cursed item. And eventually I will have to re-put back the immediate deliverance spell. Anyway, so that's it for that. Alright, let's see what's next by going on paragraph 92. For successfully completing the adventure, you get 1,000 experience points to be divided equally amongst all surviving players. So 333 experience points for everyone surviving. Which makes you approximately 1,416. Yeah, that's the amount I have. Which means
I have 1,417.
Oh yeah, because you got the extra experience that time.
Sorry, I need to add how many?
333 XP. It's technically supposed to be divided equally amongst all players, but there's one player here that will get 1 extra XP point.
Okay, so I level up.
Who wants the extra experience point?
Since I opted to sacrifice, maybe I would get it since it makes no difference whatsoever.
So I can wield two weapons, is what you said?
Yeah, we will. We'll actually discuss that in detail once the video is over, but we'll update our character sheets after we have done everything.
Yeah. Makes sense. Don't want to
Entasius'
bore
servitor-
everyone with more boring stuff. Just kidding.
Entasius' servitor takes you another room stocked with armor and weapons. Entasius keeps these things to equip his demon fighters when they were needed, she says. Nothing here is magical, but at least they will be more appropriate than the togas I have you clothed in. So, here's what is in Entasius' armory. There are swords, bows, quivers full of arrows. You can take however many you would like, and quarterstaffs. There's also numerous suits of studded leather armor, which gives an armor rating of 2, and a single suit of plate, which gives an armor rating of 4. I will take a studded leather, which gives armor 2. And I will take a sword just in case.
I have updated with the items I have taken, which would be a sword, bow, quiver, and studded armor.
Alright, that's great. By the way, how many quivers do you take?
Just one.
I will speak on behalf of Pierre-Yves here, but could you take 2 extra ones to give to the sage once we start the adventure next turn?
I guess I could take a bunch of quivers for Pierre-Yves.
Because I cannot take in the armory. All right, let's go.
Alright, and Warrior, I believe you take like a bunch of swords and the plate armor. Well, I'll also have to figure out who will keep the sword of life. Because I'm fairly sure the Trickster wants to keep it, but the Warrior also wants to have it, and I have no care for it.
I mean, if I could do with it with the axe, it could be awesome.
You don't have the axe
You no
anymore.
longer have the axe.
Ah, yeah, no, I have the axe, so I have no weapon whatsoever.
Well,
got
technically now you can restock on swords since you are in the armory, but those are non-magical.
But you can attack twice now, so that's great.
So, let me edit my sheet. Yeah, nothing anymore. So, what's the armory?
Technically, you have a single suit of plate armor that we leave for you. It provides armor protection of 4.
Okay.
And you also have technically swords, or those are the weapons that you can take. So you can take as many as you want.
Plate armor.
I'd suggest 2 because, well, you can dual wield. So, yeah,
Sword.
swords.
Another sword. And nothing else. Because...
Then again, you could only keep 1 sword because your fists now hurt as much as a non-magical weapon anyway. So you could be like hitting with a sword and then punching them. That is up to you.
It sounds funny.
So do you want to do that and just keep yourself one space in the inventory?
Well, I could up the sword anytime, so yeah.
Okay. And by the way, this is a skill of you as a fighter. Even if we did not have the genie's blessing, you would be able to do that because of your voyage into the afterlife. Anyway, so that's everything here. Let's see what's next in the adventure because we're near to the conclusion.
Well, Adam, technically, since I didn't return from the afterlife, would I still keep the bonus?
Of the genie?
No, of the healing.
Yes, you would. Next
Okay.
book, actually, the next book, which is the Walls of Spite, gives automatically those ability to new characters.
Okay.
The only thing you would not keep is, like I said, the genie's blessing.
So make sure to tell me what will be my starting equipment later on.
Yeah, absolutely. After the recording. So once we are equipped, we can go to 564. And I think it's the last paragraph of the whole book, so... Yep. The servitor leads you to the shore where a longship awaits you. Its oars are manned by invisible Fultons. This ship will convey you to the mainland, she says. After the quest you undertook on my master's behalf, this is but a small recompense. It was a quest which for him brought only grief, you reply. Unfortunately, it also led to the recovery of the blood sword. So though his motive was nothing more than his love for Cordelia, the whole world now owes him an inestimable debt. This sword shall be the salvation of us all. Hi, she says softly as you board the ship. Save for my poor master who is now beyond salvation. Invisible and soundless, the Fulton ply the oars. The ship sweeps away from the lonely island, parting the waves with her prow. Spread by gusts of wind, your robes resemble the wings of the angel of death. You do not look back. Your eyes are fixed on the horizon ahead. They are like shards of ice. You swing the sword aloft and swear a solemn vow. Magi, beware! Too long has your foul plans been left to fester. Now the day of your destruction is near. The hand of righteous wrath is reaching out to the west to smite you, and it is the hand that wields the blood sword. The final battle with the true Magi awaits you in Book 5, The Walls of Spite. And we have finished in 2 sessions the 4th book of the Bloodsword series with 1 casualty.
Yep.
Unfortunate, but it happens.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry.
So
I wanted to explore decisions. I knew it was a bad one.
which decision? Oh, yeah, the unicorn.
Mm-hmm. I'm just a bit saddened I couldn't offer you a decent fight. It was very anticlimactic.
No, Icon is kind of a joke after all that.
No, but it's just like, oh, I should be able to cast a spell. No.
Casting spells is just
Stop complaining. You won't die. I'm like, oh, yeah. So yeah, no, it's stupid.
Casting spells is just joke. You probably would have been more effective just swinging your sword away.
No, probably you would have been more effective of getting the first
if I
spell
had played as you, I would have gunshot the wizard, and
I
then cast
want-
the spell to dodge, and then gunshot me and the
But
trickster.
then again, in order to do so, you would have had to make your first action to defend, then move to the wizard, then attack. In that time, you would have been targeted. So at this point, we don't know.
Yeah,
At this point.
there was no good move, honestly. The thing that why I wanted the shield was to have a chance to survive you. Because 3 dice 6, then I could have been a menace in the long run for 5 rounds. But without that, I was just easy meat shield. That was all.
There we go. Well, at this point, not next week, because next week is Halloween and I have other plans. But in future weeks, we will start the 5th book, The Walls of Spite. In the meantime, I do wish anyone that is listening to those videos a wonderful evening, and we shall see each other again. Goodbye.
Right?